Yo, what's up, guys? Running behind just a tad, and I couldn't find my mouse. Too many screens. Don't know what I'm doing, really. Could be I have these glasses on and can't really see what I'm doing. Trying to be cool over being able to visually see what I'm doing. Fail. Anyway, happy Saturday. Welcome to Diorama Talk. We had the Chamba with us tonight, and we're going to be talking about comics, artistry, collecting, toys, giveaways, and we're going to learn a lot about the Chamba. But before we do, just some updates, some channel updates type stuff. Just talking about the milestone giveaways that are in place. Just to rehash that, there is a milestone of 750 and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And with that, I have some giveaways lined up to support that and just give back to all the support from you guys. One is the mystery box full of diorama tools, hand tools like straight edges, blades, angles, brushes, files. And the second, at 1,000 subscribers, is a Ender 3, Creality Ender 3 FDM printer. And that's to give back to support for all you guys. So help me reach those numbers. Please, thank you. Go subscribe, like, comment, share if you can. Help the channel grow. Help support the artist as we work through this road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Also, last night, Andrew JLA Boy took home the Tatooine diode that I created or made for the Toys for Tots giveaway that the Infinity Equation and Just J Hernandez put on. We did that giveaway last night. That completed with just over $2,000, I think, maybe 2.2 K for that donation drive. So that was super awesome. Thank you for all the people that donated to that cause, super cause for the kids, because kids just don't need toys at Christmas. They need toys year round. So that was awesome for them to do, and I was very glad to be a part of that. And with that, guys, I don't think I have any other announcements. And if I forget anything, I'm sure Chamba will remind me. And with that, let's bring in the Chamba. Yo, what's up, dude?
G'day, guys. G'day, what's up, dude?
Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah,
today,
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Because it's what, Sunday, 11 o'clock your time?
Sunday, 11 o'clock right now, correct. Doesn't really feel much different than any other time of the day because barely leaving the house. Although, to be fair, like I do leave the house like to go for like a daily walk, but yeah, I'll do that maybe later.
Yeah, you gotta get out, right?
I do. Yeah, honestly, it's needed.
Yeah,
it's needed.
Get a little sun. Mm-hmm. Well, in Australia, though, you got to be careful, man. That sun, everything will kill you in Australia, from what I read.
Yeah, the sun will. I mean, right now we're in what? We're about to hit spring, I guess.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So sun's not too bad, I guess, but it's hay fever season, so like allergies for me. I'm gonna be like, so I need to really like the whole mask situation is a good thing for me because that thing actually blocks out all the pollen that would get into my eyes and nose. And because the thing is, like, I think it was early last week I got hit with hay fever, and it just it takes you out completely. Like, oh, cool, I had a work day scheduled. Nah, you're not doing anything today.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I'm like, cool. Like, no choice. And
yeah, I'm with you. I suffer from the seasonal allergies myself.
I hate it. You can't do anything about it.
Well, cool. So, Chamba, before we get too far in here, the typical high school creation diorama talk intro, your 30 seconds elevator pitch. Who you are, what you do.
Okay. I am my pen name is Chamba. My name is Jeffrey Cruz. I'm an Australian comic book artist that is a freelance artist in general. I've done stuff for video games, a couple of concepts for movies, and I work primarily in comics.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And there's a lot to talk about there because that's all like some deep passions that I have. My roots are like drawing since I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. But before we go any further, let's announce the giveaway for tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I teased it over on Instagram. And again, guys, this is from Toy Maestro. So make sure you go follow Toy Maestro on Instagram. His handle's down there in the comment or the description. But we have the Deadpool movie.
Nice.
Single
pack. That's a good one.
Yeah, this figure was dope. It has an import feel to it. You got extra hands. I mean, this is the deluxe, right? And
is that what they are? The deluxe release?
Is it? I don't know. There's extra hand. I feel like it's a deluxe.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's essentially like an import line. You've got multiple hands. You've got a bunch of accessories. The sculpt is fantastic. That thing is,
right.
Top notch.
Here's a better view. You can see the
There
window.
we go.
You actually got Desert Eagles. Oh, I think you still got the glued in ones, but it's still a dope figure.
You can remove those.
Yeah, you got what? 4 pairs of hands. You got his
That's
katanas, a blade. The details are great on this. Your articulation is really nice. You got butterflies. Anyway, thank you, Toy Maestro. And
Thank you.
Chamba will be responsible for the giveaway tonight, guys. So if you want
the pressure.
Yeah, if you want to win this figure tonight, you got to be active in the chat and you got to get Chamba's attention.
I can
in
see
a
the
positive
chat,
way.
Yeah. Negative might work too. But
hey, he is responsible.
To be
for
fair,
the giveaway
though,
tonight.
positive is much better. Let's keep it positive. We're talking about toys here. It should be positive.
All right.
Yeah.
So giveaway is out of the way. So we'll do that towards the end of the night, guys. We'll probably do it around, what time is it now? 9, maybe 10:30 mark. That sounds fair. So please go out there. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Go share this with your friends. Tell everybody, come hang out with Chamba and Mike over on YouTube. We got some stuff to give away, so that'd be awesome. And that's all the administrative stuff, dude. So now we can just sit here and talk and bullshit until the giveaway.
That's good. It'll get there in time as well.
Cool, man. So it's been Sunday for you? So it's start of the week, end of the week?
Just another day.
Just another day.
Honestly, like there is no weekends. There's I'm gonna take the day off. I feel like doing nothing for the next hour or two, for example. But there's no weekend. There's no weekday for me. I mean, like obviously I have to follow the rules of the world and clocks. But if it's Sunday, then I guess it's Sunday, which means nothing to me, really. It's another day. I'm awake. That means I got to get stuff done.
There you go.
But that's good. I like that.
Obviously, there's certain like weekends that probably, some of the people you work directly with aren't as contactable.
That's actually, you brought up a really good point. That's basically it. I know the weekend because I know I can't. When I email work related stuff, I won't receive feedback for 3 days, 2-3 days, and I'm like, all right, so I have to. It must be honestly, it must be the weekend. It must be the weekend, and that's fine. They're probably busy as so it makes sense. It makes sense.
Man, I wish in the computer industry, I wish it was the same way. But if something breaks on a Saturday, it's just because that's when everybody's using your product is the weekend.
For the most part. At least these days, it's every day, really.
Oh, yeah.
If we're working from home and whatnot. So,
and then people don't know how to stop working. It's like, just because you're at home don't mean you have to work all the time.
That's really true. People say that, like people, I don't know. I think back in the day, people used to think, oh, you get to work from home. That must be great. Because you're at home, you get to relax, really. I'm like, it's still working, like, just because I'm in front of my computer, I'm not goofing off. I am, but not all the time. I'm actually getting stuff done. It's just you don't see it. But if you were to like observe from over my shoulder, you'd realize, oh, he's actually doing stuff.
Yeah, and it's much harder to turn it off too, because like the commute for me, like leaving work commute, that was kind of like the turn off, ramp down. But you don't have that anymore, right? You work until you get up, or you don't.
I've actually never had that because I've practically worked freelance for 14-ish years at this point, and it's always been like this for me, where it's the whole work from home, it's on you're responsible to actually take time off or take a break or clock in and out mentally. But if I remember that things need to get done, the sooner I get it done, that means the sooner I can take a break, or the sooner I can move on to something else, which is actually the problem sometimes. But again, it's all drawing, it's all creative for me, so I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, before we go any further, let's give some shout outs to those folks who came out to support us tonight. Lucky Butter was first in the chat. Pew pew, pow pow. Star Marvel, always huge support. Fernando won't be able to stay tonight, but he will watch the replay. Plastiatico coming out with the stabs. He's going to murder us tonight. Cerebral Deep, what's going on? Toy Box of Doom. Toying around, what's up, dude? Marcus Yee. Who else do we got here? Toy Rensu, what's up? What's up? Billy Moon. I got sound effects.
Yeah, it was a notification on my phone. I think it's actually, I'm actually being notified by this stream. What's late? Let's see.
You know, YouTube's weird like that. Sometimes
really
I'll get a notification a day later after someone like released. I'm like, I would have loved to have watched that when it hit.
It's happened the same with Twitch for me as well. I'm like, cool, I got notified. It's like, oh, that was yesterday. Why am I getting notified now? I'm like, there goes a live, I guess.
Right. Billy Moon, what's up, dude? What's up?
What's up?
796 Studios. The Sunny Channel. Josh Smith, what's going on? Dark Clueless. What's up? What's up? Man, Dark Clueless gave me some awesome foam, really dense foam material. And I need to get to making some. I have big plans for that, dude. I just got.
So you know what you're gonna use it for?
I'm gonna first thing I'm gonna do is try to make a sign out of it because I think that's what it was initially. You know what the material is used for. But once I have to test some material before I really know.
Oh
what I can do with it.
Dude, absolutely.
But I got to figure out what, like, someone uses CNC. I got to figure out what bits, what speeds I can cut it at, and then I'll probably waste about $40 in bits breaking stuff.
But it's trial and error.
Right. That's how you learn, right?
It's trial and error. It's the process to get to the the end result.
Sorry, I got sidetracked. Andy, what's going on? What's going on? Toy Maestro, the man himself, bringing all the legends to the channel. Thank you, sir. Make sure you guys are following Toy Maestro. Sure. Doombot 9000, what's up? What's up? I think that's everybody. Oh, Omega Weapon 13, what's up? I think that's everybody. Thank you all for coming out and supporting the Chamba tonight.
Yeah,
and make sure you get those comments in. Like I said, Chamba is responsible for giving the figure away tonight. So get his attention.
The pressure, dude. Now I know how you feel. And everyone thinks it's rigged.
There you go. Yeah. Every giveaway is rigged.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a giveaway. It's free.
All right. Well, cool. So I'm going to talk about the new hotness, at least what I know right now for you. And that is the new Avengers Tech-On comic, right?
Yes.
That you are doing all the inside artwork for. And you got, one of 3 covers.
Just for the first issue. Correct.
For the first issue, which I've not found yet. I got 2 issues so far of 1. I got the variant.
I've got that.
Yeah, that's your cover, right?
Yes, correct.
And that's the one I haven't been able to pick up yet, but we'll be finding it. So all the inside is Chamba.
Yeah, it's I've got to say it's definitely interesting to see what it looks like in print compared to on screen. I know this comic is available digitally also, and if I were to make a suggestion, I think having the hard copy is good. It makes it feel like it's a real comic for me, anyways. But if you really want to be able to, because I know when you read digitally on a tablet, you're able to actually zoom into panels and such, right? At least that's what I'm familiar with, and that's actually good for this book because I draw everything digitally for this book. There's actually a lot of things that kind of get lost in the print, if that makes sense. And I include so many stupid details that's unnecessarily. Just unnecessary for me to actually include, in all honesty. Like seeing it in print, I'm realizing, oh, it's tiny and stuff gets lost. But whatever, I do it for me at that point.
So let me ask, how long does it take to do an issue?
About a month and a half to 2 months. It's a long process of back and forth because I do what digital pencils, which is essentially just loose lines, really, just to get the gestures across. But I include all the details there so that, because normally, like when I worked on Street Fighter, my layouts were essentially just blobs, like just shapes with arrows, shapes and arrows to get like the writer and the editor to know what it is I'm doing. But because I'm working, this is for Marvel and stuff, and I'm not sure if they're familiar enough with what I do. I try to get as much detail as I can in the digital pencils. So once that's approved, I'll ink it up digitally. Everything's digital. and then I present that. Then after that, I'll do the colors. So it's about, on a good day, like on a good process, I can get two pencils a day, 2 inks a day on another day, obviously, and colors for a day. Not all in one day, mind you. Like, it takes one whole day to color a page. Mm-hmm. It takes one whole day to, on a good day, to pencil 2 pages, and on a good day, I can ink 2 pages on that day. But lately, like, there's I think the current issue that I'm working on and the previous issue, things have just taken longer. There's just a lot more. You'll see when it gets to, like, when it actually comes out, it'll make sense why those ones took longer. Just a lot more to draw, really. And oddly enough, it's effects that take a long time in the coloring process, like smoke and stuff. Yeah, because I still draw everything underneath the smoke. So yeah, I really need to work a better process than that, in all honesty. But whatever, I like the way it looks.
I mean, I'm looking through here. It's dope looking. And
thanks.
So you're inking and coloring. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm doing pencils, inks, and colors. It's I don't know how common it is for, like, mainstream books for like one artist to do all the interiors, but I'm thankful that they allowed me to do it this way, because like I did that one shot for Marvel last year, the Venom the End, and it was only the line art and it was just the line art that I did for them, and they got a color artist to do the colors for that. So that's fun to work on, but it's nice to be able to actually, like, do everything myself, because I can kind of envision it better in my head. And I'm just more used to working that way.
Here's a question from Marcus Yee. I don't know if you saw it or not here. Is there a property you'd like to illustrate for that you haven't yet? Yeah, that I haven't yet.
There's usually, like, a list of things that, obviously, like, before I started working in comics, there's things that I would love to just have dabbled on in an official capacity, whether it's a cover or interior artwork. I feel I've done most of those things. I haven't really done anything for DC. I'm not massive on DC, but if I were to do anything for DC, I'd like to, even if it's like a one shot, or like one of those anthology comics that they do for, like, Batman Beyond. I think that's one of the characters that I would love to work on. Yeah, thanks. I love, like, that's my favorite. He's my favorite from DC. I mean, I'm not big on Batman per se, but Batman Beyond specifically, I like that. I like that one. I like that version of Batman.
Yeah, it's very cool, because also the time that it's set is in the future. It's very futuristic, almost cyberpunk in a way.
Yes.
Maybe.
Oh, fully cyberpunk. Fully cyberpunk.
Okay.
You can take it that way. No doubt. So that's one that I've not. That's something that I've not had a chance to work on. And who knows? Like, anything's possible. But if I don't, that's not a big deal. Like, I didn't expect to be working on a lot of things that I've already worked on. So I take everything that I can, and I'm just thankful for those. But yeah, I think I've covered most properties that I've wanted to do for the most part.
So you're chipping away at the bucket list of properties, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think you got it. Like, obviously, growing up, we've been fans of, like, cartoons, movies, and such, right? And you never really think about, like, one day getting a chance to work on these things. Like, if you told me in high school that I was going to work on a Street Fighter comic, I'd be like, whatever. Like, as if that's a thing that's, because back then I'd seen it in the comic shops, and I'm like, that's rad. I loved Street Fighter. I still do. But to be able to work on that property, it's awesome. Lots, like, Transformers. I love Transformers. I don't want to ever draw a comic for Transformers, because they're a pain in the ass. But they would be a pain in the ass. So honestly, after working on this book, anything that's super technical, although, to be fair, after working on this book, a lot of things are easy to tackle for me now, because of all the. Well, you have to, because, like, there's so much stuff now that I've gotten used to, implementing detail in work that I didn't really want to jump on before. But this has forced me. It's kind of forced my hand to do it. So I think tackling a Transformers, while I'd rather not at this point because I know how long that stuff would take. It would be fun. But I did do like card art for that. They did like a card game stuff for Transformers. So I've worked at that one. I crossed off the list. So if I never do anything Transformers again, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But yeah, like Turtles, I did a couple covers of Turtles. So off that list. Yeah, it's just there's a bunch of properties that as a kid you're like, that'd be tight. But if it never happens, it's all good.
So this is the second book you've done the interior for? The first was the Venom. This is
for Marvel, correct?
For Marvel? Okay.
For Marvel, yeah.
Is this the biggest that you've done, or
for Marvel? I think so. Like, I mean, there's different. Like, it really depends on the artists themselves, because I know some artists' goal is to work for one of the big two. Some artists' goal is to create their own, their own stories. If I had it my way, like a perfect life for me would be I can earn a living working on my own stories. That would be the best, like no complaints with that. But the fact that I've managed to at least release my own stuff, that's already a positive for me. So
you're starting to sound like that high school kid again.
Sorry?
You're starting to sound like that high school kid again about Street Fighter comic.
Oh,
one day you'll be having your own comic.
Oh, I've already done that.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean? Like, but my goal is to if I can live and just do that always, that'd be the best. That'd be ideal. But that also doesn't pay the bills. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Unless like you hit a major, like say a Hellboy or something, where it's or a Spawn. Let's say even Spawn, because Toddy's killing it. That's his own property. He's earning a living through that. And everything else that he's been doing, of course. But yeah, that's obviously the goal. But yeah, as far as like major projects, I'm sure some would say this is the biggest, and it very well is, I suppose, because it's Avengers, it's a Marvel thing. So I mean, to me,
Avengers is hot, right?
Yeah, Avengers is hot. Like to me, Street Fighter was a big thing because again, that was an important part of growing up for me. Mm-hmm. I'd put this on the same level as that. But I'm sure for others they'd see it differently. But yeah.
So there are a number of questions that piled in here.
Yeah, I've been saying some of them.
I've tried to get to okay, so here we go. Here's one from Oilers. Oilers is, I'm sure you saw last week's episode, a master diorama maker. He wants to do a CGC of the submission for, I'm assuming, Tech-On.
I mean, sure, you can mail it. Mailing right now is an issue for Australia because we're in lockdown right now, so a lot of things are, I think, limited here. But I think once the lockdown gets lifted again, I can start going to the post office and mailing things again. But that's always an option. Normally, as far as if you can trust the post, then we're good, because that's always the tricky part. It's trusting the post to do their job. But I've had people mail some stuff before, and I've signed it and I've mailed it back without an issue. But that was obviously before the pandemic and whatnot, so things work a little bit differently.
Will CGC honor your signature?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I know with CGC stuff, they'd rather do it because I've done I've signed CGC books during conventions, but they've always had a representative there to see the actual to witness the actual. Unless I like film myself doing it, I wonder if that would count even. I'm not sure how that works with that.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really not sure how that works with that.
All right. Here's one from Toy Rensu. Have you designed your own Ranger? That's a great question since you're a Ranger guy.
Absolutely. Obviously, like you draw, growing up, I'm sure we've all created I'm sure people who don't even draw, just, growing up, we've all created your own fan characters of some sort, right? Like, I still remember, I think I may have been in second grade with my brother and some family friends. We made our own Thundercats. That's
awesome.
I can't recall what they were, but I remember specifically doing that because back then, my older brother drew. I had family friends. They were all creatives. We were all drawing. So we literally all drew our own version of a Thundercat onto one sheet of paper. So we were collabing back in the day. I'm like, that's like thinking about it now, I'm like, that's awesome, you know. So as far as like own rangers, own Kamen Riders, yeah, I've created a bunch. Just, you know, growing up and stuff. Not recently, but yeah, definitely.
Adam Gonzalez, another great artist. He did some stuff for the Enablers, Thundercats, actually.
Yeah, I saw that one. I killed it.
Yeah, love it.
What application
what
do I use? Right now, I've for the past, I guess, 4 years or so, I'm fully on Clip Studio Paint Pro. It's basically, to me, it was a nice conversion from transition from Photoshop to Clip Studio, because it had all the settings that I was after. It still doesn't have all the settings that I did use in Photoshop, but I've worked around it. I found workarounds for it at this point, like certain things that I could achieve in Photoshop with like a click of a button. Here, I'd need to just take that extra step to achieve those things. But I use Clip Studio primarily. It's doing everything that I needed to do.
So are you using like a Wacom tablet, or?
Yeah, I'm using a Wacom. It's the tablet that I use is not the one where it's a screen based. It's the one where it's just the blank surface there. Yeah. Because I know some people prefer to be able to see, like they use a Cintiq or something. That's the actual graphics tablet. I don't use the graphics tablet because for some reason I feel a disconnect with it. I don't know why. Like I've used it at my mate's house whenever I'm like, when I travel overseas, they've got like a spare one, and I'll use that if I need to get some work done. There's always a slight disconnect. Like I don't know. It's like I feel awkward, which is bizarre because when I draw traditionally, I'm, you know, seeing what I'm drawing. So it is bizarre. But this one I'm using like a mouse essentially, except, you know.
Once you get used to it though, I've drawn on one just like that. And once you get used, like I was drawing with a mouse, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was drawing with a mouse, and I was able to do some things. And then my buddy gave me one, and I was able to do that.
Yeah.
And then I got an iPad Pro. I was like, I want to be able to draw an iPad Pro. So using the Procreate software, which is beautiful for what I do, right? I'm just a hobby drawer. And I love it, dude. I could take it anywhere. I put a matte screen on it, so it feels like I'm drawing on actual paper.
That was definitely it, yeah.
So
it's the glass interface sometimes where it's like it's too slidey and there's no traction. And you're like, something feels. That's what the disconnect was for the most part. But yeah, I think it depends on the person as well. Because like if you get used to, you know, the tablet that I use, it's kind of second nature. Plus, for me, it's comfortable. It's just like there's eye-hand coordination that I'm more familiar with it at this point.
Plus, you're probably working on a bigger screen than like a little 11-inch tablet, right? So you can see.
Oh yeah, my screen is
what
like.
You're doing.
I don't even know what the inches on this screen is. It's big. It's unnecessary, but it's fine. It does.
There was action figure collecting unnecessary. There's
absolutely.
32-inch of plastic for Galactus. Totally unnecessary, but a must-have.
What a Galactus. Did you back it?
Not yet.
You going to?
Probably.
Okay. Are you waiting for what? Like,
I don't know what I'm waiting for, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I want to like. I speak to a couple of people. I'm like, I get it. Like, Galactus is dope. And honestly, if it was more of a viable thing for me to purchase here in Australia, absolutely, I'd consider it. But I think I checked it last time, and it cost like $600 US for me to get it here. $650.
Oh, because of shipping, right?
Well, yeah, there's a Australian vendor that does it, but they've obviously upped the price for it because they have to get it in. So I'm just like, I don't think I need something like that for that much for a character that I know of. I think it'd be different like, if I drew Galactus. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm more inclined to, you know, it'd be more tempting, but I can't use that excuse all the time.
Yeah, it's very weird because like with the Sentinels, I was all in day one. I had like 3 ordered right away, but I'm huge into X-Men, like Sentinels, 90s X-Men. That's my jam. Galactus, not as much. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's dope. What they're doing is really cool. I don't know. I'm probably just going to wait because it's so close to payday to the last day to buy it. You know,
that makes more sense. Like, I think that's the thing, and I understand like how difficult it can be for people because with the whole HasLab, it is. The whole you have to it's a pre-order that you pay for whole, and you have to get it. It takes a year plus to get there. So it's a big ask. So yeah, well, with Sentinel, that makes more sense for me. Even like I don't have a lot of X-Men figures. I don't think I have any actually, but I grew up with X-Men, So the Sentinel would make more sense. Would have made more sense to me specifically.
Oh, I totally missed this question. So do you just draw digitally or also traditionally?
Okay, so for comics, I do digital. It's cleaner, it's easier. It saves me time from having to scan and clean up. Mind you, I love working traditionally, but I do those primarily at like conventions. I love working with markers, working with inks, but it's a different feel. Like, say if you get a digital Chamba piece, it's going to look like what it would look like in a comic. If you get a traditional Chamba piece, there's more rawness to it.
Which they have their place, right?
Absolutely,
have their place,
absolutely.
Especially in the industry now, right? Because you can get so much more done digitally than you can traditionally now, right?
It's tricky though, because you say that you can get more done, you can, but because it's digital, I can zoom into something, and in my head, if I can zoom into it, that means others can zoom into it. That means they could see that. So I end up working at that zoom size instead of print size. So it's you got to weigh it out, I guess, at that point.
So we got a lot of questions. I think I'm going to come back in circle because I'm missing some comments here. Yo, Wood, what's up? Thanks for joining. Art with Toys, excuse me. What's up, dude?
You always say
we're almost at 20,000 backers. What was that next year?
20,000.
Yeah.
It's Morg at 20,000. Yeah.
They'll
reach it. They're going to reach it for sure.
Oh yeah, because even like all the statistics show that, especially with Kickstarters, the last couple of days are some of the biggest ones. But before we go into more questions, I want to dig a little bit into your past. We talked a little bit about your self-doubt in high school. Let's dig a little bit more into that one. But got some questions for you. We'll save the Instagram questions towards the end, but some like generic like artist questions. And then we'll get back to the questions, guys, on the live stream.
No doubt.
So we already talked about who you are and what you do, but currently you're freelance. Is all your primary focus on the Marvel stuff, or are you working with? Can you talk about who else you're working with? Or
right now, as far as work goes, I don't like working on multiple things at the same time, because most of the time when that happens, it's those other jobs can require different mindsets. It really depends on what it is. Like, I'd like to work on one thing at a time so I can pour my focus onto that. So like right now, I don't have commissions open because this is the book is occupying so much of my time. But when for example, like if I'm doing concept characters for movies, for example, like I've done stuff for, like through Udon, I will do concepts for video, for cartoon proposals and such like that. Those I can juggle around because they don't take as long, and it's easier to focus on those little jobs per time as opposed to working on such like a time-consuming thing that comic books are. So like right now it is just a Marvel project.
That's cool. So you're full-time Marvel. That's awesome. That's
for now. It's until the project is done.
Right.
Let's just say that. Yeah. Like I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting anything after this. And honestly, if nothing happens, I'm good because I've got this out of the way.
Well, that's dope, and that goes into the resume, right? Resume builder. I was going to say is I work contract too, and that's how contracts work, right? It's feast or famine, and it's all in until the next project.
Absolutely. And I know some will say it's like it's better to prepare for having something after this job is done, but that's so far off sometimes that you can't predict these things. Like something can always pop up. Like again, I didn't expect to be doing this right now at all. When this project popped up, I was just gonna my plans for this year was just, I'm just gonna have commissions open up for this year, and just take those on because I'm fine with it. I love commissions, like doing one-off pieces for working with individuals. That's fun for me. But so I didn't expect to be doing a comic book project right now. So this came out of nowhere, and I have to hop onto this opportunity, especially if it's like, the characters. I get to draw Spider-Man. To me, I was like, that was the thing that got me. I'm like, I get to draw Spider-Man in his officially in his costume. Heck yeah! I'll take that off my bloody list.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big draw for me, that aspect.
Is it cool to talk about that a little bit, about that process?
Absolutely.
How does that land in your lap like that?
This project?
Yeah, that project.
Okay. So the writer Jim Zub, he used to work for Udon with me. Like I was working, obviously I work with Udon. They produce the Street Fighter books. They do a lot of they translate a lot of books these days, but they used to do primarily Street Fighter comic books. And Jim was a writer for that. Jim used to write for them. He used to work with Udon. He did stuff with Image after that because he wanted to write his own stories. And I did, during that process of his own original properties through Image, I did like anthology issues where it's like 5 or 6 pages from various issues. I colored some stuff for him too. It's always fun working with Jim. And we've always wanted to work together on a larger project. And he's been doing stuff for Marvel for a while now. This project popped up. He thought of me as like somebody to collaborate with for this. So we did a test. Like obviously he let his higher-ups know that, he had an artist in mind, because I think they had a couple other artists that they were looking into for this project. I don't know who they are or whether or not they actually did the test for it, but like the test was the actual, like if you got issue 1, the last page, the costume reveal, the whole armor, that was a test page. So they gave me the script, they gave me they gave me the character sheets. So yeah, this page, last page, that was the test page. So they gave me that. They said, yep, draw that last page. We'll see. And obviously, the editors will see whether or not it works for them. Again, I don't know who the other artists were that they were looking into, and whether or not
it doesn't matter now, does it?
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter. But in all honesty, I would love to have seen what they did, if they did anything, because I'd love to just see another person's depiction of them. But yeah, from there I got the job, and that's what I'm. They go, yeah, this is a 6-issue thing. They're making it's a collaboration with Bandai. They're making action figures. So to me, I'm like, it's like tokusatsu. So it's got the whole Sentai suit armor vibe. And to me, I'm like, these are ticking all the boxes for me. Mind you, like once I got the project, I'm like, cool, this is great. But then it dawned on me that I'm like, I have to draw them all, like this armor for, this entire run. And I'm like, what did I get myself into in a way? But this should be a fun challenge, and to be able to work on a project that I never really expected to was nice for me. So, and I get to work with Jim, and it's always nice to work with somebody that you wanted to work with again.
So that's dope. So you had a working relationship with Jim, right? He brought you in because he's worked with you before, liked who you were, liked your work. So it's networking at its finest, right? You're not just putting in your name somewhere into a hat. You actually work with somebody and they recommended you. That's awesome. Yes.
And I think that's what like networking is in terms of the comic field for the most part, or I guess a lot of fields really. Like I know some people will say you only got the job because you know people. It's like, that's a factor for sure. But if you can't back up the work, then they're not going to get you. Like, right. If you can't do the job, why would they hire you just because somebody else suggested you? Do you know what I mean? So you have to they got your name out there. And again, like I'd done something for Marvel already before, so it's not like I hadn't. But I don't know if they were completely happy with what I did with them. So I don't know these things. Like I don't know what's going on in terms of the whole behind the scenes department of things. But I guess if I have to prove myself again, then I'll do that. That's fine. That's kind of how it works, right? So,
but you did, right?
I did, yeah, I did. So I'm doing it now, so it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to when it's done, though. To be honest.
Are you able to say how many issues are there? Is that
they announced it's 6 issues only. Thankfully, I'll be honest with you. Thankfully, it's only 6 issues, because it's time consuming, because I am doing all the interiors. It's not as easy, I guess. It's not as simple. It is simple in a way because I am handling everything myself, but it's it's time consuming. It's a long process. I think, you know, books that are worked on with teams, they can get stuff done obviously quicker, because like a person can get the pencils done, they can pass it off to the inker. They can, while they're inking, that penciler can pencil another page. I can't do that. I can only do, you know, one thing at a time, really. So that's why it usually takes like double time to get something done. But I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, and I can't wait. I can't wait for the toys.
Yeah, those are next year.
Iron Man comes out December.
Oh, wow, okay.
He's on pre-order. So I hope that they actually go ahead and make them all, because I love the designs. I didn't design them. It was designed by these amazing Japanese artists, and I hope they make them, because I would love these figures, like, fully.
They look really cool, and I definitely will be pre-ordering them.
They look tight.
Just a few more questions about just comics in general, because I don't know the process behind it. But so, like, on each of are these already storyboarded out, and how much are you involved with the story to come up with like each panel?
Okay, so when they send me the script, so all I'm given is the script. As far as storyboarding, panel layout, that's all me.
Oh, wow.
The script says, like, you know, it lists out the amount of panels per page, then it has the dialogue of each page, and the dialogue of each panel. So the panel could say, actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually pull up something here. Give me a moment.
No worries.
Yeah. What I'll do is I will. So yeah, it's they give me the script, and the script will basically describe what's on the page, what's on the panel, the panel count. Some will say action panel, you know, and that's what I got to do. You know, I got to fill it in at that point. As far as the layout goes on the page, that's on me. So I get to, all right, I'm not going to read you the description, because this is obviously, it'd be spoiler. But all right, so it's like, it's got issue whatever. It says 1, which is page 1. Panel 1, it says, we open up blah, 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 blah. It says location call out. Then it's got numbers saying how many characters are in this panel, who's speaking, and then it has a dialogue for each of them. Now, that each panel would basically show that. This is specific of how this comic works.
Right.
And I would look at that. I would look at a blank page and work out what's the most important panel and a layout, you know, in terms of like the flow. Because people, like, I get, you know, messages all the time on Instagram asking, it's like, oh, they want to be comic artists and stuff. It's like, what I need to work on. And I'll check out their actual page, because, you know, if they say they want to be a comic artist, hopefully you're on Instagram and you have some examples on your page of comics. So I'll check your page, and if there's any sequential work, I'll look at that. If there's no sequential work, then I usually ask, you know, where's your sequential work? If you want to be a comic artist, comic art is sequential artwork. If you want to be a cover artist, then that's different. You know, that's, you know, you're working in the comics field, but you're a cover artist. Sequential work is storytelling. So I need to see the storytelling. So yeah, it requires flow. And with comics, it kind of needs to flow. It's different from manga, where it's from right to left. With American comics, it's left to right. So it needs to be able to, if you can direct the reader's eyes, then you're good. And I, you know, because I've got the script, I will actually, when I send the pencils, I will fill in where the speech bubbles will go as well. Just so that I can, because I think the problem with a lot of comic art is that they'll draw everything and forget that there needs to be negative space for the speech bubbles. And you don't want to do that, because you end up blocking out some of the artwork, which, you know, it's like, why you're drawing more than you need to at that point. So I will actually implement where I think the speech bubbles will go and such, just to assist with the flow as well. But yeah, it's a basic process. It's time consuming. Honestly, the actual layouts and the drawing part is probably the most not time consuming, but it's the most mentally challenging aspect of creating the comic for me. Is the pencils and the layouts. That's the part that drains me mentally fully. Inking, it's just cleaning up. That I can almost do that on autopilot. Coloring, that's really fun. Coloring is the fun part because I get to work with the lighting and the effects and all that type of stuff. But yeah,
that's cool. Real cool.
Pencils and layouts is the most mentally draining for sure.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially, it sounds like you have a lot of freedom. I was going to, excuse me, I got a tickle. I was going to ask, is each page like reviewed and approved, or are you given like almost full creative, freedom?
That's what the, sometimes with this project in specific, that is what takes the time, is the waiting for approval, because obviously if I jump too far ahead, there's a chance that they're gonna want something edited, and then that would take me more time to actually edit something that's complete. So if I send them every step of the process, they can let me know what they want changed or if it's good to go right from there. So it's a lot easier. Like once I finish the page pencils, I'll send that off to them. I won't ink anything until I receive feedback, but while I'm waiting, I will pencil another page, or ink another page, ink a page that's been approved already, or color a page that's been approved in inks. So I'm always doing something on the project, but I do have to, like for me anyways, it's a benefit to definitely send them stuff so that they can, look at it. The editors will look at it, see if it works. Sometimes it's good that they can catch things early as well. So, because if they can catch it early, then I can, make that correction. Then I'll send that back for approval. Yeah, and it goes back and forth at that point. But it's a fairly good process in a way. And that's why I was saying earlier, like, I know it's a weekend because I won't hear anything for like 2-3 days. And I'm like, okay, it's a weekend today. Cool. So while I'm waiting, I'll do a couple of stuff that I can. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for peeling that back, because I've never had the chance to really dive into comics and what it's, because it's not just about drawing. Like you said, if you want to do inside, there's sequential, there's approvals. With this particular one, like you're able to, tell the story with, just a few sentences drawing. Mm-hmm. That takes not just a drawing skill. There's another skill you got to tap into, and you got it going on.
Thank you. It's storytelling, and and I love it because I'm like, even after working in the industry for over a decade, I'm still learning stuff, and I love that. Like to be able to learn something new, to be able to shift mindsets and try new things as well is always great, because it means I'm always, art is awesome because you can always learn something new. You don't know everything, I love that. Awesome. But it's a lot of work though. It's a lot of work.
So maybe 2 down and 4 to go. I don't know how far ahead you are, but there is some light, right?
Yeah, there's light in the tunnel. I can't wait to, I can't wait for the break. I can't wait for the break when I'm done. I think it's different as well, like, because obviously this is tied to a toy thing. I think if I had the toy in hand, I'd feel more amped up, And I'm looking at, I looked at the actual, like, the pre-orders for the Iron Man figure, and I'm like, this would have been so handy drawing, having this in hand that I can just, rotate in my hand and go, okay, it's gonna look like this, as opposed to just, because the character sheet that I'm given, it's just the front and the back in a 3/4 angle, right? And then all the add-on parts, which is the DH10 upgrade, and I'm like, okay, so I have to figure out what it looks like from this angle. I got to figure out that. And then I looked at the figure and I'm like, okay, so they changed aspects of it too. And I'm like, so it's not even going to be accurate to what the book is, but I'm basing the book on the concept. So what am I going to do? But it's very close. It's very close.
Yeah, it's so cool. Sorry, I'm admiring the work.
It's all good. Thank you. Thank you
so much. Yeah, thank you for diving into that. And I think people love it. People, everybody aspires, especially when, we're growing up. Well, I want to draw for comics, but we really don't understand what it takes. And it's really cool to be able to.
I didn't either. You know what I mean? But I was like, I knew from a kid, I was like, people have to make these things. So I want to be one of the people to make that. In my head, that was all I knew. I didn't know the process of it all. And I honestly, without the internet, I don't think I'd be doing this. Like this, like having access to the internet has made this all accessible and possible, I feel. So yeah, I love it. I love comics, but it's definitely difficult and underpaid.
You do it for the glory, right?
I do it for the love of it. Honestly, that's why whenever someone asks, like, I want to do in comics, and I'm like, oh, number one, before anything, you have to love it. Because if you don't, I'm going to tell you not to do this. Because there's going to be too many times where you're going to hate it. Whether it's the work, whether it's compensation for things, you have to love comics, period. So, what I do. So, sometimes I hate that I love it. Like I got mates work. Like I got mates. Right, check it. I got mates from the US that from a decade ago that I'm still mates with and whatnot. And they all work in and the animation field right now. They'll do like storyboards. They'll do directing. They'll do character designs. And most of them, I'd say a majority of them, wanted to do comics, but they're in animation now because there's just more benefits. It's easy accessible, and some of them still want to do comics as a side. And I'm like, I'm here like, I wish I love animation. I appreciate animation. It's a major influence for me, major inspiration. But I love comics too much to just leave comics. So sometimes I'm like, I wish I didn't love comics as much as I did because I'd probably get into animation instead.
So if this went to animation mode, they made I guess there's no Saturday morning cartoons.
They'd make it an anime.
Do it.
They'd make it an anime.
Oh, okay.
No.
No, you wouldn't do it.
I mean, the thing is, at that point, I don't know what I'd be doing because if it was an anime, they'd probably just tap the people who designed them.
That's true.
Which are already there. They could consult, the writer, or they could just flick through the book to see what I've already done and just implement that. And to me, that's no involvement on my part, unless they'd wanted me to do some redesigns and stuff, which I'm always open to. But yeah, you don't need to fix something that's already dope. Yeah, at least that's how I say things. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Don't need something.
Great point. I was going to say something and forgot. Oh, well, we'll move on to the next question here.
Yep.
And it's more about your background. So we talked a little about, kind of your thought process. You were drawing with, friends, family. But at the root of it, do you remember like some of the first things you were doing? Was it always drawing? Was there any other, creative avenues that you pursued?
I mean, that's like, I knew that I wanted to get into illustration, from like high school onwards. Prior to that, I just wanted to draw. Like, to me, I didn't really know. I didn't think of it as a career of any kind. I've always been drawing. Like, my old man, my dad draws a lot. He used to draw. He's the one that him and my brother were the ones that kind of started me to draw because like they were drawing, they were creating stuff. Awesome. And I'm like, okay, I'll just do the same thing. Like, it's something that, you don't like back then, obviously you don't have a lot of money. But there's always pen, paper. Anyone can get those things. I had access to pen and paper. So for me, I'm like, I'm making my own stories. That's me. I get to tell stories through drawings, or like I'd have toys back then too. Like little Transformers, little dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. So I'll be drawing that. And we'd have like little G.I. Joes. So my dad, he would make basically like early stage crafting. He would get cardboard tape. He'd create vehicles for the figures, because that's what he's very like, I wish I had photos of some of that. Cause I remember some of them, like looking back now, I'm like, how the hell did he do that? But back then he's going to make vehicles for my G.I. Joes. Cool. That awesome. To me, that was just normal though. Like, right. I didn't think anything of it. I love sculpting as well with clay. That's kind of a hands-on thing. I enjoy that, but that's something I'd love to get back into, but it's also time consuming. It's also, and the thing right now is the reason why I don't really do other things outside of drawing is because it takes away time from drawing, and drawing is my number one. And that's why it's always going to remain my number one in that sense. So like, I would love to, like, I've been thinking about, I'm like, I'd love to start getting into like 3D sculpting, because I dabbled with it like a decade ago, but for school mainly. And I was like, this is fun. But now it's like, if I get back into it, it's so that I can make like custom heads and stuff for my figures. So in a way, I'd only learn it to kind of like go back into my hobbies. But again, in saying that, it's the whole learning the application. That learning the application process is just going to take away time from just drawing. And that's why most of the time I don't go into those things, because I'd rather just be spending time drawing. It's tricky.
Yeah, obviously there's not enough time ever, right?
There really isn't. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I would definitely like to see,
yeah,
maybe in the future, some digital sculpting from you, though.
I'd love to. Like, again, and again, the only reason why I would get into the 3D sculpting is so that I can sculpt my own characters in 3D, like as heads, so I could, get them eventually printed out and like popped on custom bodies. That's honestly the only reason why I would want to do 3D, is for that sole purpose. So it's to feed this my hobby and interest in action figures, which is whatever. That's fine.
You just tickled a little something in my brain. So do you 3D print? Do you have any machines?
I don't. I'm not interested in any of the machines and stuff. Like, it's good to know people that are more into that stuff, because they can, obviously, they know more than me. They have more knowledge in that field. I just want the creative part of it. Like the whole 3D sculpting part, I'd rather dabble into that than the whole figuring out to print and stuff. Or even like, I don't have the patience or the time to like even paint like traditional paints. Like I know like 796 and whatnot, he'll do all those crazy paints and customs. I don't have patience for that. I'd love to, but I'm also afraid, like, if I do something like that, it's just, again, it's going to take away time from drawing. And that's, to me, that's number one. That's like number one by heaps, So it's tricky. But I do want to do the 3D sculpting so I can sculpt my own characters. That'd be good.
That would be dope. And I would print them for you.
I'd like that. I mean, that's what I was like. And the thing is, like, at that point, I'd sculpt people's characters, I'd interpret people's characters. Because like right now, if I had time, I would draw fan art of people's characters right now. But time I don't have. That's what I was doing as far as commissions, like before I started work, is people would have characters that they want to see drawn in a professional way. And that's what my commissions were, basically. It's like, oh, you've got a character that, that you've sketched out. The sketch could be awesome, but it's like, you'd want to see what they'd look like, say, if they appeared in, say, a Street Fighter book or a Marvel book, like of that quality. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. It's not a problem. But obviously the next thing would be like, oh, my character's in 3D. I'm like, that'd be tight. I'd love to do that. So maybe one day. One day. I say maybe, but we'll see. Yeah, I gotta, there has to be a drive in me to do that. And
maybe after issue 6.
Honestly, after issue 6, I'm going to take a break. I think I'm going to take a break. I say take a break, but most likely it's just, I'm going to draw stuff that I want to draw just purely for me, for fun. And yeah, that's a break. I don't even know how that's a break. So that's weird.
Take a weekend finally?
Yeah, probably like, watching movies, playing with some toys.
There you go.
Drawing for myself. Again, a break for me, a break from work is drawing still. So
how much of this is a side question, how much of what you do on Instagram is for yourself? Is all that for yourself?
Instagram, a lot of the stuff that I'm posting on Instagram is from Patreon.
Okay.
Yeah, which is good. That's why Patreon is nice. Although, to be fair, the stuff I do on Patreon is mainly for myself. It's just people get an inside look at that and have access to pieces like in advance. Or there is like specific tiers on Patreon where, like right now, like I said before, I'm not available for commissions right now because of work. But on a specific tier on Patreon, you can actually, as one of the tier rewards, you can request artwork, the character, and I will take that time to do that character. So technically it's not a commission, but in a way it's kind of like a side door to a sort of a commission.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what people have been doing. And that's always fun. To me, it's like it's a mental break from comics, but it's still drawing. So.
Any other plugs you want to make while we're on the subject?
I didn't realize that was a plug.
No, I'm messing with.
That's a pretty good plug, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
No.
So that's cool, because one of the things that I love and what it reminds me of whenever I go through like Instagram and see like the the progress shots is the line art, right? The beginning line art. And it reminds me of a game me and my buddy used to play in high school where we would draw a random line, crazy ass line, pass it over, and they had to draw something from that line.
We used to do this.
Used to love that, man.
Yeah, it's the best. It's actually the best. I think the last time I played that was maybe 4 years ago, because it was a show back in the day. It's I think it's a British show. It's called Mr. Squiggle. I don't know if you guys got it there, but it's basically blank canvas. One person would just either couple of shapes. The actual person has to create an image from those lines and shapes. And but it wasn't like like a crazy shape. It was just like maybe a squiggle line, a square, a bit of a circle here. And then from there, you have to create something. And that's always fun. Add a bit of drinks in there. Great time. It's a great time. Yeah.
Man, I've not played that in 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, see, I think 3 years was the last time. And the reason was because we were drinking. So,
but I used to love it, dude, especially in high school. Like, there was nothing better to do but draw on the back of class.
That's all. Dude, like all my workbooks had sketches. And I'm like, I don't even know how the teacher passed me in this.
Yeah, that's where I got the name from. High School Creations was I dug all those drawings up and was like, hey, let me take these, digital, and I couldn't come up with a better name than High School Creations.
That works, though. That works.
Yeah, that's cool. I wish maybe I'm gonna send you a squiggle line, or maybe you should send me a squiggle line one day. I'd love to get that started.
Once this project is done, I'm gonna feel a lot more free to do things. Like, there's so many things that I wanted to do during this period, but I can't because this is encompassing all of my time, really. So,
later, Kev.
Oh, he's up.
Yeah, I don't know about talent, but I do love. I like to draw. I just I can't stand when there's pressure on the draw. There's timelines, because then I just timelines bother me, especially when it comes to drawing, because I feel like I could keep going on a project, just like you were talking about zooming in. Like, if you zoom in and you can see that detail, that means somebody else can see that detail. Or maybe someone doesn't see like my wife, like those kind of details she doesn't see, but I'm like, but will somebody else see those details? I get so worried.
Somebody will always be able to see it. Somebody will always see it. And that's why I'm like, at this point, I'm just doing it for me. I got it. Like, and I like working with a deadline or with like a full stop, because if there's no full stop, it could go on forever. Okay. So I have to basically put full stops on my own pieces. So I'm like, okay, it's done. Because I can always go back and touch something up. But I'm like, let's just move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next thing. So, but
yeah, whether it's a dio or drawing, when I close a piece or end a chapter, like, I'm done. I probably won't ever. I think about revisiting, but I never will revisit.
I don't. Like, the closest thing to revisiting is not even a revisit. It's like a few years later, I'll redraw it. Like, it's almost like there's that whole thing. I think there was a meme a couple years ago where they would like look at an old piece, redraw it now to see how much you've grown. That's something that would make more sense to me. But I wouldn't go back to that specific piece and fix something, because it's done. Whatever errors I made then, that was me then. So hopefully since then I've learned some stuff, and I'm just implementing those things that I'd learned into future pieces. But cool. That's part of the art process. It's like with the dio making. It's once it's done, it should be. That's it. That was your level of skill then.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I'll look back on a piece, and when I was done with that piece, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic, right? Because that's your skill set at that point. You flexed, and you look back and go, oh, man, that's terrible. But I felt so good about that piece.
But that's good. Like, I know some people, it's like, I know they say most artists hate their own pieces. It's like, that's a fact, but it's usually the older stuff. Like, when I create something now, I'm like, you have to be content with it. You can't just, because if you constantly find stuff that you don't like about it, then did you see it while you were making it? And if you did, why weren't you making corrections on it?
Right. And I think that's, as you're talking about growth there, as an artist, that's your growth. That's your maturity, right? You realize to ignore those little negativities in your head, but also focus on a detail. If you see something, fix it now. right? Don't
Fix it
wait.
now. Fix it while you're working on it.
Yeah.
Don't and plus once it's done, don't dwell on that. How about look at the piece that you've worked on and see what you don't like about it and make those corrections on the next piece. Like be mindful of those things in the next piece. So that way you don't have those same errors again.
Right.
It's easier said than done though. But I mean, it can be done is the thing. You should at least be, have knowledge of what you're crafting.
Yeah. Be the master. Like do the best you can at that time, right?
Absolutely. Because it represents you at that time.
Uh-oh. So I had 2 questions here from IG that I wanted to do, and I lost one, but I have it. First one is going to be from Diorama Boy. So we'll go ahead and move on to the IG questions real quick. So Diorama Boy, he started the season out right with episode 1 for season 2. Well, what's your biggest artistic influences?
I mean, it's definitely manga. That's comic art. I know people go, manga is different. I'm like, it's all sequential artwork, and that's what it is. But manga, like, this is my biggest influence, for sure. After that, it's, everything is like so close to each other, like anime movies. Anime and movies, it's anything cinematic. It helps me visualize things that way. But yeah, if you want specifics, like Akira Toriyama, who did Dragon Ball, Dr. Slump, Yosuke Murata, who did iShield 21 and One Punch Man currently. Those are the major ones for me. Like lots of energy, the use of perspective, the action, the storytelling, the paneling, it's all there. I love it. I still look at it to this day and I'm like, I've still got so far to go. And it could be like decades old, and I love that. I love that there's always something to work towards, just to better yourself, really. So it's not a competition with anybody else. It's like, I want to be better than who I was yesterday or today even. So if you can improve on those things, bloody awesome.
There you go. And those things all stem from your childhood? Were those things that you were, watching and enjoying as a child?
Dragon Ball for sure. That's one of the earliest stuff. Like anime it's from like cartoons and anime is from such an early age. But like back then, it's like you didn't think about it in a way where people, at least to me, it didn't register that people were making these things. To me, these things were just something that existed.
Right.
And then later on, you're like, oh, wait, people are making these. Or even comics. I'm like, this is awesome. I love it. And it's like, oh, people made this. And then later on, you're like, I can make this. I can be one of the people making these things. So why not? I don't know. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what process it took. But it's, if it's something that you wanted to do, I'm like, I'm just going to go in. Why not? It's a risk anyways. I've got this one life. So I'm going to try and make the most of that. And I love drawing so much that why not? Why not dive right into it?
Excuse me, I put my hair up. It's hot out. All right. And then, so great question, great answers. I think for a lot of us creators, those influences do stem from our childhood. Like, so for me, like a lot of the 80s and early 90s, like Transformers.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, I still draw those ways. Like Ren and Stimpy. Like, I love those close-ups on Ren and Stimpy.
All those still shots.
Yeah.
Those fully painted still shots are still some of the best. Disgusting as well, but some of the best. Like, all those details. I'm like, just a piece like that would be sick. And I'm like, somebody painted that. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome to me. Like, they painted that mole with hair and booger. It's awesome,
Bad teeth, bad
gums, I love it. Oh.
Yeah. And, just the creativity behind it. Think of all those things. Yeah. And I think my parents hated me watching it, but I loved it.
It's, it's an influence. It's a cartoon. It's fine.
Oh, it's acceptable now. Look at SpongeBob, and SpongeBob does some of those same.
They do, and I love it when they do, because it's like, oh, okay, this is harkening back to some of that disgusting '90s stuff. I'm glad it still exists.
All right, so the next question, and sorry, I thought I had it in the banner, but I didn't. But this comes from Star Marvel 76. How did you break into comics?
All right, good question. Okay, so First convention that I attended was San Diego Comic Con 2006. Prior to that, I didn't really know of comic conventions, and based on just no information, I figured, okay, what's the best way to get into comics? It's to show my work to an editor. I know some people to this day don't really know that. It's like showing your work to another comic artist is not really going to get you a job, because the comic artist is not the one that hires you. It's the editors or a writer. So 2006, I attended Comic-Con. I went overseas, first time traveling overseas on my own, or I traveled with a mate. He wanted to do Comic-Con as well. I was like, cool, let's do San Diego Comic-Con. First one. I brought a folder of just artwork and some random sequential artwork that I did. Prior to that, I'd been speaking to, I'd made friends with artists online through like DeviantArt and such like that. Some of them worked in the industry. Some of them were just, fan artists like myself. Like we would just draw whatever we want. So I'd have a folio of work. I'd show it around. A mate of mine who did stuff for Udon, Joe Ing, he worked prior to that on Dreamwave on Transformer stuff. But he was like, hey, just drop by the table, we'll hang out and stuff, but bring some work to show, because you never know. So I had some stuff. Oddly enough, I showed, when I went to San Diego Comic Con, I went to the Udon booth and I showed my stuff to Jim Zub, who's the writer for the Avengers book right now. He was working for Udon. He was one of the editors there. He saw the stuff. He's like, it's promising stuff. Thank you. It's promising stuff. We'd want to see more Street Fighter, because that's the stuff that they worked on. And I'm like, Street Fighter, love Street Fighter. It's easy, not a problem. So I drew more Street Fighter stuff, and I think it was like a month or two after that, they gave me some test work. It wasn't comics yet. It was mainly just what was that fighting card art stuff? It was like a fighting card system that was Street Fighter related. I think it was UFS or something. I forget what it's called. But I did some stuff for them as tests, and they were like, "That's cool stuff." They gave me a couple more work. It was like cover work. And then they asked me, "It's like, do you plan on attending Comic-Con in 2007?" And I was like, yeah, I mean, I want to go every year at this point. I want to save money and travel overseas, because, to me it's a big thing. But I made it basically an annual thing. It's just travel overseas, hit up Comic-Con, hang out with mates. I was like, yeah, I want to do San Diego Comic-Con 2007 for sure. And it's like, all right, you can definitely hang out at the Udon booth. Hang out behind the table, do some sketches, because you've done stuff. At that point, I'd done stuff for them, like little jobs. So I was like, that's wicked. That's it's a guaranteed badge to get into Comic-Con. Tight.
All right.
That's tight. So I did. So that next year, hung out at the table, met a bunch of the other Udon artists. They took me to the back. They're like, at the back of the booth, and they're like, we're going to restart the Street Fighter book. I'm like, dope. He's like, do you want to draw? And I'm like, all right. I'm like, I'll do it. I don't know, if I can, but I'll give it a shot. Why not? And that's basically it. That was the start of it. That was the start of that thing. Prior to that, though, I did do I did this Sinbad book through Blue Water. It was supposed to be like 4 issues. I did 3, and the only reason why I did 3 was they didn't get the 4th issue script to me. So I don't know if you can even find that. You can probably find that stuff online. I like that stuff, and it was kind of like a play on, what is it? John Carter. It was kind of a play on John Carter.
Okay.
But it was Sinbad. So it was like it's like sci-fi thing. It's called Sinbad Rogue of Mars, I think it was. So it was definitely a play on John Carter. But it was really fun. Like, I got to be super creative with that book, and it's a shame that I never got to finish it, because to me that would have been like my first, trade in a way, my first little mini series. But Yeah, so that was my first actual comic gig, but Street Fighter was my main one. So that was what, 2006, 2006 2007.
All right, so you've been what years? 5, 6 years? Oh no, longer than that.
Yeah, about 14.
14
years.
God,
yeah.
Math. I can't.
Yeah. Who needs it?
I can't believe it's 2021. Like, where's the flying cars and shit?
Seriously. Wait, seriously. Flying cars. We need teleporting. Where's that? Give me that now. Thanks. I want to teleport to the US so I don't have to travel on an airplane for 15, 16 hours. Well, we can't even travel anymore, so it's not even a thing.
Sorry, I was reading a message.
All good.
Dilly, the Diorama project. What's going on? You follow a lot of Diorama folks? I know you're not.
A couple, not a lot. It's because I don't have the space to collect. Plus, I suppose as far as dioramas go, I love what a lot of people do. I mainly see it through the browsing thing, but I don't follow it because it's not really something. Usually what I follow is stuff that would inspire me fully to draw. And I love the diorama community and what they're producing, but because I don't own any, due to obviously being in Australia, to ship anything to me is not going to be fun. And space, really. But the stuff that I see is just too bloody good. And I'm like, that's the artistry behind it is just nutty. Because it's miniatures, like watching movies, I love the miniatures in movies. The ones that's so good you don't even know that it's a miniature. And that's essentially what a diorama is. So
yeah, a set miniature, yeah.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. Like, to me, that's high-end art to me. And the dioramas are like, hey, these are for the action figures. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, that's the best. That's the best, It's like, yeah, it's just it's a set for my figures. I'm like, that's tight. You're using it to its full capacity right there.
Yeah, it's definitely a different artistry, but there's some amazing artists in here tonight. I just want to give them a few shout outs. But
no doubt.
Yeah, the Diorama project, Dilly, he made me a cool in the 90s, I was a huge Korn fan, and he reached out to me last year, I think. I was like, hey, what was your favorite, 90s band? I was like, Korn. He made me this sick diorama with Korn and stuff, stuff all over the walls and stuff. I just want to give him a shout out for that.
That's why I love your actual diorama talk, because it's showcasing diorama makers, and I love hearing the artistry behind it, but also seeing when you showcase some of the stuff, it's just some stuff that I don't get a chance to see because it's not really the art field that I'm fully delved into, whereas I know a lot more comic stuff and manga stuff because that's my pure interest in that. But seeing the goings on behind the scenes of diorama making and seeing what they, the end result from the start to the finish is just, I love it. You can see there's definitely the passion in it. You have to have the passion in it, but it's also the creativity of figuring out how to work things out to achieve certain looks. It's like, oh, what can I do? A lot of experimenting, a lot of trial and error, like you were saying earlier. Where it's like, okay, I got to figure out how to achieve this. But, or shrinking stuff, it's like, okay, how would it scale? Scaling it properly. I love all that stuff.
I talk about math like I don't know math, but you have to know math to be able to shrink stuff down.
And even in that, it's still trial and error, because you can have the right formula and the right math formula, and you're like, oh, it doesn't look right. It still doesn't sit well. So I love all that stuff.
Yeah, you definitely have to play with perspective and stuff on some pieces. But there's no silos. It might be called diorama talk, but I love all artists. I love the creativity behind it. Like having you on, having we're gonna have Adam on, Adam Van Winkler. He's a different creative type, right? He's in the industry for action figures. And I want all this, right? I think we can all learn from each other, right?
Absolutely.
We were talking about this backstage, right? The creativity spawns from our brain. It's almost the same type of beginning. It just ends differently, right?
It has to be. Because you got to visualize it in your head first.
Right.
And that's kind of the way it is with all these things. You have to be able to at least see it in your head in order to try to create it outside, right? So I love all that. To me, it's all creative, and that's what it's about with this anyways.
So Toy Rensu, going back to the teleportation, is very scared of it because you're basically ripped apart and reassembled.
Yeah.
I think of The Fly. I think of you've seen The Fly, right?
Yeah.
With
yeah.
why am I blanking on his name? Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, that's what I think about. Oh man,
Because like if something gets, if something interferes, are you still you?
Yeah. Do I have your finger? Like this isn't my finger.
Right. Like did something get in there while I was being recreated, reassembled essentially? Like it's not like it's all bizarre. But it's all sci-fi at this point. For now.
But that's what's cool about sci-fi is like, not to get off on a tangent or anything, but those things from like the 60s and 70s have evolved how we've developed technology, right? We created things like we have more technology now than they did on the Star Trek and like the first couple episodes of Star Trek.
Look at this right now. We're speaking, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing that baffles me sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, like we're video chatting. You're in another part of the world. It's a different time, technically. So that's crazy to me.
Oh yeah, I can't touch you.
Yeah, I can't do this. Like, there's nothing there.
That is crazy. You're for this year. This is second international diorama talk. So
international, baby.
Going international this season.
International. It works out. But yeah, the internet's, I'm super thankful for the internet for that.
Idiocracy introduced Crocs? All right.
Oh, it did. I love that movie too.
Cool. Okay, that's all the IG questions. Thank you for answering those. Yeah. Thank you guys for supporting our Diorama Boy and Star Marvel. Wow, we're already an hour, almost 30 minutes in. Time goes by so quick, man.
It's too quick.
Let's do this. Let's you want to consider doing the giveaway? We'll go ahead and surprise people real quick.
Sure.
And do a giveaway. Do you want to give people about 5 minutes to just throw up some stuff in the comments, or do you already have somebody in mind?
I don't have anybody in mind. I'm kind of like scrolling back now because there's a lot there.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about it for a minute. So Toy Maestro, I don't know if he's in anymore, but he was here earlier.
He was there earlier, yeah. Thank you, Toy Maestro.
Yeah, thank you so much. And tonight, guys, to win this figure, you have to tickle the Chamba's fancy. You got to say something in the chat to get his attention to pick your name for that figure. And, drop something in. Say hello, say something weird. I don't know. It's dealer's choice tonight. It's his choice. There's no rig away. It's going to be pinned on me tonight.
I'm looking back at some of the questions
to see
if any of the questions actually that's a good question. I like that one. That one's so I'm looking. Yep, Tomash still there. Thank you for the giveaway.
Thank you so much.
Let me look back at some of the questions and answer those if I can find them. We answered that one. Omega Weapon 13 asked earlier, have I tried creating my own Street Fighter character? Absolutely. We've created several. A couple of years ago, we'd do these like art jams where we would basically reimagine Street Fighter in a way, like do a sequel. And from there, we'd make our own characters. So I think I've got a bunch on DeviantArt somewhere. But yeah, I might repost them on Instagram eventually. But lots of that. Transformers. Drawing Transformers sounds hard. It is. It is. Plus the Addictor asked, how about working on a non-transforming Transformers comic? I don't even know how that would work. It's still robots though. As toys, I think.
Not in disguise?
No. Toying Around asked, have I drawn enough Tommy Olivers? I've drawn only Green Ranger, not Tommy Unmasked, and I never will. Tommy will hot chances dreams. That's correct, Omar. He will. Tuesday Crew, Bat Force, Grumps, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I'm just looking at the questions. Huggy Rangers. Makashi, do we ever... What was that question? Let me see that question. I can't see it properly. That Marcus question. What does it say?
Oh, this one, the one I got up?
Yeah.
Do you ever have a moment halfway in the process where you get confused by the writing? I think this was going back to when we were talking about the storyboarding. Is there a creative input exchange between illustrator and writers? It seems like you have a good relationship with Jim, so I would assume, yeah.
If there's anything that I don't understand, he'll clarify it quickly. And that's the beauty. Like, as I can always either hit him up on email or on Twitter, like for a private message. And from there, he can let me know, like, if there's anything on the script where I don't really know what he means, or if there's anything specific, I can always ask him. And from there, he can definitely let me know, what it is. So it's great with that. It's great working with Jim because he's very straightforward with that. There's no sugarcoating anything. Doesn't have to be. It's like, let's just communicate as best as we can, get the message across. So not all, it's nice when the people that you're collaborating with can be as clear as that, really. Let's see some more questions. DMC Studios asks, what Udon books did I work on? I might have some. I don't know what they've compiled them as, because I know they re-release a couple in different formats, different new hardcovers, and they'll always like rebrand the titles. So I don't exactly know what my stuff has been collected on. I did the entire Street Fighter 2 Turbo series, so whatever that one is in, that's me. I did some stuff for the Super Street Fighter Volume 1 and 2. Toyorensu asks, can I say which issue will have the YouTube Easter eggs? Yeah, because on working on the project, I threw some Easter eggs in the background, logos and such, where I can, where it's like, I don't want to throw it in where it doesn't make sense, you know? So I've got, I think on issue 2, I've got somewhere in there the Infinity Equation logo.
Nice.
Issue 3, I think it was issue 3. I have Toy Migos logo somewhere in there.
That's epic.
And I think Toying Around's logo. I'm still trying to find spots for your logo. I don't want to. No, serious. I don't want to, because the thing is, again, I can't make it too obvious, but I want it to be clear enough to be able to just point it out and go, it's there. Like, you might have to, that's why I'm saying digital. You can zoom, if you zoom into it, there's some things that you can see a lot better, but yeah. It should be there somewhere. I'm trying to find a spot that I can pop it in somewhere. Dude. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun because it's like, I get to do what I want in a way. And so long as it's not distracting, because I know the message with Marvel is like, don't have anything that's controversial. It's like, or political. I'm like, I'm the least political guy. I'm not going to throw anything that would be negative to anything. It's like, it's just shout outs to like toy YouTubers and such. So.
No, that's awesome. And I would agree with that. I think you're probably, and I agree with Bat Force here and Grumps. You're probably one of the coolest people in the community. I think I said this backstage is like when we started, following each other on Instagram, like I was immediately blown away because you're such talent with, we were talking about the following as well. And why those numbers, I think we agree the numbers aren't, indicators of anything. They're still meaningful, right? In a way.
Yeah.
Especially likes, comments.
It's exposure. The numbers is exposure at that sense, but support, it doesn't necessarily mean exposure,
But it was so cool that we were able to go back and forth, me just hobbyist and you professional comic book artist.
Yeah.
It was definitely fun just seeing your work and talking to you. And you seeing some of my work. So that was much appreciated.
It's fun stuff. Yeah, like what Grumps brought up. If you actually on the Toy Migos Discord, we do like bloody chat all the time there, like voice chat. So we talk toys all the time there. So if you ever feel like chatting about toys, hop onto the Toy Migos Discord. I don't have the link on me. I don't even know how to access the link, to be honest. Can we?
I have it somewhere, but I was gonna say if you want to, talk to Mario for like 10 hours or something, I can give you his phone number. Chat. I know Chamba's already got it, but
I mean, we're on Discord. I know we're always like private messaging on Instagram for the most part. It's always about toys, but yeah, I could talk toys for hours upon hours. You can ask anybody on the bloody Discord.
Just rolling through some of these chats. Remember, guys, you're trying to really grab the Chamba's attention to win this figure.
Chamba, since you live in Australia, have you ever done a shoey? I've not. And I
what?
don't.
Oh,
a shoey where you drink beer from a shoe. Here's the thing. I don't like beer.
Isn't it that Das Boot? Das Boot?
Yeah, that's like a European thing. I don't like the taste of beer, unfortunately.
It's acquired.
Yeah, it's not enjoyable.
Oh, do you drink?
For me specific. Yeah.
Water.
I drink water. I like milkshakes.
Okay. Milkshake. What's your favorite milkshake?
Just chocolate, strawberry. Those are good. I like chocolate banana. Is actually pretty good.
Oh, I was gonna say a banana milkshake is actually pretty good, but it's normally with vanilla here. But
yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah, I'm an ice cream guy. You can probably tell.
I love ice cream.
I got a waist.
Dude,
you can't tell.
I'm all about dessert. I love cheesecake. I feel like cheesecake now.
Oh, that's so funny you brought that up because after the infinity equation last night, I killed half a cheesecake watching a parallel universe.
Jealous. I'm jealous. I might order some cheesecake this week. I'll be honest.
Oh, Vegemite. You don't eat that, do you?
I can't do it. All right, here's a mistake that I made when I was a kid with Vegemite, right? Because, and it's haunted me forever. Mates, I had like classmates back in primary school. I had mates back in primary school. They liked Vegemite, right? And the way they'd spread it on things, they'd like lay it on thick because that's how they would enjoy it. That's not how it should be acquired for the most part. So I just copied them because I thought, all right, if that's how they're doing it and they're loving it this way, I'll do the same thing. I don't know if you've ever had Vegemite before.
I've seen enough YouTube videos.
It's just like pure salt.
What is it actually? Is it a plant-based
I think
product?
so. I think it's like, I think it's like yeast or something. I don't know. I don't like it. So I laid it on like they did. In my head, it was like, okay, it's kind of like, it's a spread, so it's going to be like a Nutella or something, right? I thought it, in my head, like one of those hazelnut spreads or something. It's like pure salt. Put it in my mouth. I shut down, and from there, I can't do it. And I just do it lightly. Put it lightly with a bit of cheese or something. And I'm like, I don't need to. I don't need that. Cheers, Billy.
Yeah. Do they have any other flavors like ranch flavored or Dorito?
No,
flavored?
Vegemite's one flavor. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I know people who enjoy it. I'm like, right on, man. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen too many videos. It's like watching the hot wings challenge. I don't need to do that. I've seen enough people on YouTube do it. I'm good.
I mean, with hot wings, I enjoy a bit of spice, but not so much that, goes in hot, comes out hot, because that's usually the rule of things, right?
Right.
I don't need to blow up the toilet.
No, I don't need to suffer. I don't need my face to be on fire.
I'm like, that's not fun. Be sweating while I'm eating. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's not fun. So I'm good. I don't need that.
But it's fun to watch other people, like those hot chili pepper or like the
they
ghost
put themselves
pepper
into
challenge.
that situation. You know what I mean? Like, no one forced you to do that. You're doing it. So for our entertainment, I guess.
Entertainment at its finest.
It really is.
And I got like a mustache hair is going into my nose and tickling me.
It's the worst. It does tickle when it happens.
All right, cool. Did you find somebody you want to give a figure away to yet? No pressure. We have plenty of time. Flaming hot. Ooh, Diorama change. Oh, I didn't notice. Diorama's got a new logo and a name. All right, Diorama.
Tight.
He will be on later this season, actually. I need to get a date to him.
I'll be watching that for sure.
Ooh, someone's an IPA drinker. All right.
Fancy.
Yeah, I try all those different types of beers. Like everybody does like local brews these days, right? So I try them. But I come back to like a real light beer, something I can drink like not like water, but you know, I can just sip on through a live stream. Billy's out. Don't put words in my mouth. Okay, what happened here? I think Sonny's gonna event you. Oh, wait. Is this gonna be wide driving?
Oh, I don't know. Can you do that? Is that I wouldn't recommend it.
I've seen some of his lives. He's done unboxings while driving.
Yeah, see? That's what it does. Like Hot Wings can just fire bums.
Hey, Taco Bell, man. I love y'all don't have Taco Bell probably.
I know it because I had it when I was there. You know, the thing is I've lived in the US for, you know, periods of time, so I'm very familiar with US food, and I miss US. That's the thing that I miss a lot is the travel, because I miss the food in different places. Like I miss Philly cheesesteak, an actual Philly cheesesteak from Philly.
Yeah,
you know, I miss deep dish pizzas in Chicago. Love it. I miss Mexican food in Cali. I want Mexican food. That's one thing that's very not accessible in Australia, and it drives me crazy. So those things like very regional. I can't eat when I'm here because I don't have access to it. So I miss it greatly. I've not been to Boston. What number Chamba? This is Chamba 1, which is
so I think I missed that live stream, but I got a lot of questions like which Chamba, and I was like the Chamba, like I didn't know what number to give. Do you have like a barcode or something to show which Chamba you are?
No, this is just me.
What's up, Adam? I didn't realize Adam asking that question. Or I wasn't even I tried to V-neck this, Adam, but it didn't work.
I honestly I think I got rid of all my V-necks. I had a couple growing up, but don't have anymore.
That's all I wear. I have like a fat neck. And so unless it's like a shirt like this representing someone from the community, I wear just like Target or like Walmart cheap V-necks, like black most of the time. Because I can just throw them away when I want a new one.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like it's almost just, you don't have to wash it. You wash it a couple times, but then if it goes off, just grab a new one. You know, the standardized sizing and such, so they're good.
Oh, he said your Chamba number 69, his favorite.
That's his favorite. That works.
Oh, I can't wear undershirts. I think in high school I wore undershirts, but like now I'm like, I have the dad bod thing going on. So like anything constricting, like I don't like it. That's why I like V-necks. Because you gotta see my veins popping out from this shirt. Like, Dan, who you need V-necks?
It's already constricting
it's
your
like,
actual
it's like
That's great.
Jason Momoa. My lawnmower.
I can't think of as far as picking out a name, dude. It's tricky because the comment section in the StreamYard, I can't go all the way back.
Oh, you can't?
Not on StreamYard, no. I'd have to go onto the YouTube one to see,
there's more reasons to move off to a new platform, I guess. John,
although I do like that, you can see the comments without having to hop onto the YouTube one. Give me 1 second, actually. I'll just check it on the YouTube.
Whoa. Oh, I totally read that wrong. All right. All right. Wife beaters until I got married. Then I started calling a spouse. Mario is jealous. Where is Mario? Oh, there he is.
Oh, I guess on YouTube I can't go all the way back either.
What? That's weird.
Yeah. Like I can't scroll the way back to the very first one. That's unfortunate. Oh, well.
Oh, custom knife. Oh, okay. All right. I'll send you one. Do you want I've been watching Forged in Fire on Netflix? I'll make you a true custom blade.
Oh, snap.
Just kidding. I don't do that shit. I'd probably catch my house on fire or something.
That seems so dangerous, but it's awesome to see. You know, I'm like, these guys are like,
it's like 4,000 degrees.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's as hot as the sun.
And like, you're already boiling there, you said, so you don't need it to be way hotter than it actually is.
I got 2 ACs going. It says it's 77, but again, I told you, I have a dad bod, so I'm hot when it's like 72.
I don't buy it. You know what I mean? It's like that says one thing. I don't buy this. Jared is like, you don't have to scroll the way up, just pick me. That gets you not. Yeah. You've placed yourself out of the running.
Oh, sorry, you're out. You know what we can do? We can make this easy. I can put the blame back on me. We can do a spinny wheel. Last person standing. All the participants that are currently active.
Diorama project. What is my go-to music when I'm creating? That is a good one. It varies all the time. I mean, lately, these days, when I'm working on the comic, I'm not listening to anything because I'm most likely in the Discord voice chat. That's what I mean. Like, I'm just chatting or watching like bloody live streams and podcasts and such. Like, I'm watching nearly every single one of these toy streams. So Scarlet Kid wants back the rig away.
Oh, I don't have problems with like chafing between the legs. This is just the upper body that like my muscles are so big they rub my chesticles, and you know my veins popping out. Probably need to get that checked.
Diorama asks, what's my favorite character to draw? My own characters. I enjoy drawing my own characters more than anything else, but you know, it's given the time, it's more difficult, I guess, in that sense. So that Banana Quick was good, Sunny Channel. I still got some.
There's Banana Quick?
Dude, you have to get it. Yeah.
Is it chocolate or is it
it's banana? It's just banana.
Oh, dude, I'm about to go
highly
Google
recommend
right now.
Highly recommend. Yeah. We all, a bunch of us snagged it when we were watching one of Sunny's live streams before. I had to order mine from bloody UK. Bloody, it's so good though. It's so good.
All right, people want rigaways. What do you want to do?
Let's get, if that's what people are suggesting, let's go that way.
All right, let me jump into YouTube. I'll give you guys 5 minutes. Get in the chat, be active. I don't know how many people's watching, but 27. All right, if you guys want to be a part of this, jump in YouTube. Get active in the chat. I'll grab your name. We'll do a spinny wheel.
Also, the Banana Quick wasn't cheap.
Oh, how much?
I paid way more than I'm going to admit to.
Sorry.
Because it's, accessing it is not, because it's kind of like, it's not a widely purchasable thing anymore. Yeah, can you hear the bird?
Yeah, is that what that was?
I forgot what kind of bird it was. I remember finding out what it was and just I wanted to draw it because I used to do a bunch of like art live streams every morning for me, like hourly, daily on Twitch. And when I was doing that, you'd always hear him. So I was going to draw him or the bird and just like have it featured on the corner of the actual page as like a mascot, as the channel mascot. But I stopped streaming because work started taking up way too much time.
Work always getting in the way. So do you do much realism or is it all comic book?
It's all comic book. I appreciate realism, but it's not really my forte. I'm not as good. Like my brother was actually really good at it. It was never my thing. I love pushing like pushing shapes a lot more. And comics was my thing. I like comics and animation, so I like that style more. It's what I gravitated more towards. But like still life, realism, that's quite handy because it's always nice to refresh your mind to see how the body is and such. I think people who don't always look back at that, they forget how how a real body functions and looks. And so, their anatomy and whatnot tends to just go all over. It's not a pigeon, actually.
Could be a dove.
It's a specific bird. I forgot what bird it was. I found out what it was. You know what? I'm going to try and figure out what it was while people are bloody chatting still.
All right. Names are full. I'm grabbing the participant list. Getting this Will Decide spun up here. Yeah, I find like with my art, I'm really good at reproducing. Like I can look at something and reproduce it. Same way with diorama building. Like I use a lot of reference when it comes to like, especially the human body. I have difficulties. Like if I go to draw a figure, I need some kind of reference. I can't do it from mind, and maybe that's just because I don't have practice.
Practice definitely helps. Like a lot of the time these days, most of the time I can. If I see a design, I can pretty much just visualize it in my mind and kind of like rotate things and just draw it from there. There's a couple of fight scenes in there's a couple of battle shots in I think it was issue 3 or 4, where it was group shots. So what I actually did was just to assist me, just for like character placement, where is my figures? He's displayed back there. I would use the bodycoon and the synthetic humans just to, like, all right, this figure is going to be here, another figure's in front, and then I would just plonk that on the screen, not trace it, but just like use it as placement and then create the poses from there. Because it's hard to just figure out when there's like a bunch of characters.
Yeah, especially the way they overlap and how, especially when it comes to like lighting and coloring too, right? Because
I don't actually use it for lighting and coloring. I use it mainly for just placement of the characters. Because like there's like certain pages, you'll see when the actual issue's out, there's like group shots of just a mess of these things, and it definitely assisted in those ones for sure. The synthetic humans are probably some of the best in terms of movement and such, because you can achieve a lot with them. So if you can pick up one of them, I would recommend it. I know that
1,000 Toys.
They're re-releasing these ones, and they're releasing the female version. It's pushed back to next month. So
they don't have any of those. I may have to.
Highly recommend.
Maybe I'll get those versus Galactus.
Ooh, the problem with these is that they are a bit pricey now. I think they're
I mean, to get a 4-pack, it'd be about a Galactus, right? They're about
$100.
Close
to. These are about 70, I think. But at one point there was a sale on these things for like 30, and that's when I snagged.
I just wait for Mario to sell them to me at a big discount.
I don't know if Mario's got these ones. I think he may have sold them already.
I swear half my collection of like dope figures comes from Mario once he, does a purge every once in a while.
I don't blame him. I mean, I don't blame you either, because like where his interests lie these days, it's very specific.
Well, yeah, and then a lot of times I either stop collecting at a point in time or I missed out, and then he's got the stuff that I missed out on. He's got a great taste in figures.
Oh yeah, dude. I could talk toys all day with him.
All right. So we got the wheel up here. I just want to make sure I can see it.
He said he's never going to sell the synthetic humans. So you're out of luck, Mike.
Next week he's going to hit me up, but hey, you still want these?
Nah, I don't think so, because these ones are like top notch.
Yeah, I've been eyeing them for years. They've been great for years, actually, right? I mean, they've been out for a while.
I mean, they've also been like remade several times with like different designs as well, but it's all the same base body. Just go for that.
Okay, well, here's for people to get mad at me. We're going to go ahead and start this spinny wheel.
This wheel is not rigged, by the way, guys.
Yeah, Chamba, verified here that this isn't rigged. So we'll go ahead and spin here. And again, this is for the Deadpool. I think this is Deadpool 2 movie figure, actually. Unopened, brand new, brought to you by Toy Maestro. I wanted to keep this one.
Toy Maestro.
Yeah, I
don't think I've ever seen that here. To be fair, though, I don't see a lot of things here in Australia. So
I've never seen it in my area. I was trying to keep it. I was hoping he would forget, but it's actually the last figure in the recent bundle that he sent. So this one is going up for tonight. So here we go. Spinny wheel. Last person standing takes this figure home. I'll send it to you. No cost.
Good luck, folks.
Ooh, Marcus, you're out.
Sorry, dude. Sorry, Papa Schmitty.
Papa Schmitty, you're out. You're out. Well, Toy Maestro, you're not going to win your toy back.
That's fine, though. That would be rigged if you did.
There you go. Adam G. Sorry, dude.
Sorry. It's Amazon exclusive. Okay, that's why I did.
Oh, so not only is it a legend of a dope figure, it's an exclusive figure. So thank you again, Toy Maestro.
Yeah, thank you, Toy Maestro.
Is this eliminating people? I feel like it's not. Ooh, Star Marvel. You can't win them all. He won the AI Iron Man a few weeks back.
Oh, that's a good one. He won something already. That's solid.
Diorama, you're out.
Sorry, Diorama.
Oh, that's so close. Scarlet Kid, you're out.
Maybe next time.
I got to figure out how Dan Who does a duck race. That was fun last night.
That was hilarious, by the way.
Gary, not this time. But you probably have this figure. I know you got this figure.
Sorry, Sonny.
Yeah. I want to see the Vegemite challenge.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't wish that on anybody.
Ooh, Omar V.
Missed out, buddy.
Ooh, Omega Weapon 13 out.
I was like, for a second, I'm like, that looked like in between. Diorama Project's out.
All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. It's all about who gave money in the PayPal account. Drums, you're out.
Dang. All
right. Oh. Doombot 9000. Sorry. Play again next time. Dude. Every week, there will be a toy, a legend, most likely, on this channel, given away to a lucky... Adam. But I know Adam's got all the figures. He does. Final four. Final four.
Ooh, 796, you're at.
Satisfying. Toy Rensu.
Sorry, dude.
All right, final two. We got DMC and we got Plastiatico. Excuse me, guys. Ooh. Oh, snap.
Oh, wow.
The DMC.
DMC won. Congrats. You got yourself a Deadpool.
You know, he asked a lot of good questions tonight, too.
He did.
All right.
Amazon exclusive Deadpool. I can't even find it right now, to be honest. The Amazon exclusive one. I hopped on right now, and I don't see this pack. Huh. I found him. Okay. He's currently in stock.
Yeah, it retails for $200, so that's a good win. I'm just kidding. I don't think it's $200.
It's $70 actually.
Wow, that's big. Yeah. It's crazy how these legends, like after about a year, even if they're peg warmers, after about a year, their prices always go up.
Mm-hmm. Like honestly, like I was saying earlier with this Deadpool, it's essentially like at this rate, it's like an import figure. He's got the multiple hands. He's got double articulation. He's got the butterfly. Got tons of accessories. He looks dope. He's sculpted awesome. So solid get. I'd pick it up myself, to be honest, but I don't know what kind of access I'd get to it here. Oh, what the heck?
La, la, la. Is that Baymax?
Correct. Correct. Good guess.
I wish they do. I'd like the to talk about Baymax. I love the movie, Big Hero 6, and then me and my son were into the TV series. It was drawn differently, animated differently, but really enjoyed it.
It's fun.
I don't know if you're a fan, but
it's fun. I do wish it looked like the movie though.
Yeah,
because it would have really elevated what it was. Yeah, I'd love a super articulated Baymax figure.
That would be cool. They had some, but they weren't super articulated.
Yeah,
right?
the closest thing to a super articulated one is the Nendoroid one currently, but that's the whole chibi, large head type deal. I still might get it though. I figured out what the bird was, by the way.
Oh,
it was a spotted turtle dove.
Turtle dove. All right.
I know what it looks like because I always see it. But yeah, you were right. You said dove.
Yeah, when someone said pigeon, they sound very similar. Like I do some hunting. Being a southerner, I do some duck hunting, some bird hunting, and doves have a unique sound. And a pigeon is very close to a dove.
Very close, but it's just. I don't think there's a lot of pigeons in Australia, though. To be honest,
probably not.
They got a bunch of seagulls. That's essentially the equivalent of it. But yeah, it's a spotted turtle dove. So
yeah, I think in the States we call them Walmart gulls because they flock all over Walmart parking lots now. Not even at beaches.
Screw the beaches. Yeah, that's crazy.
Ooh.
Ooh,
nice.
Hurricane. That sucks.
Yeah, it's hurricane season for us on the East Coast, so
not.
Yeah, they're not fun.
We didn't get them here, thankfully. It would suck.
They can be bad, but they're predictable somewhat, right? They're definitely not super predictable, but they're enough to panic. Like every year,
you still get a warning though, right? Like there's like hurricane warnings, right?
Oh yeah, like they'll do forecasts of spaghetti models, and you're like, oh, you're in the cone, you need to get out. Blah blah blah. The news, whatever. So like we've evacuated for so many years in a row, but we stopped prepping because it never hits. Right? It's like you do all this work.
It sucks to say, but it's like one of those days where you're like, it's not gonna hit, and that's the year that it's gonna hit, and you're like, ugh, it had to get you at that time.
Well, where I live in 1989, like a category, the biggest hurricane hit the East Coast, hit like a direct hit on my city, and I lived here then, and it's like, well,
were you there? Were you there at the time?
Oh yeah, I was a little young lad. I lived right on the a river on the coast, and our house was the only house that really wasn't demolished. So I don't know why or what, but
thank goodness.
Yeah, but there was boats from like the coast, like 30, 40 miles inland, dude. It was crazy. Hurricane Hugo, it was huge. But these past couple of years, dude, like the number of storms have just increased. So I feel for anybody that's about to go through any kind of storm. Stay safe.
Yeah, that's no doubt.
All right. Figure's been given away. I feel accomplished.
We had a winner, man. Congrats again.
Winner. Who was it again?
I tried.
No, just kidding. DMC, hit me up.
To be honest, like while that was going on, I decided to hop on to Amazon.com.au because that's a thing to see if this piece was available. And I checked, regular Amazon too. I can acquire it here in Australia, although it says in stock soon.
Oh, wow.
And it says in stock soon. So I'd have to get it imported from the US.
That's a really cool figure.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Toy Maestro has any more of these. You may want to hit him up, but he's always got the figures. Always got the figures.
Right.
I don't know how
shipping
may be cheaper with Amazon though.
From Amazon to me here it says $16.
That's not bad at all, really.
No, not bad at all.
I ship to Cali, and that's about as much it takes to ship to Cali.
So, it's doable. Or I can go, buy it from Amazon Australia. But that one's outrageous. That one I would not go with.
Yo, El Chamba, another great diorama creator. Three major. Yeah, you're in Louisiana. Yeah, Louisiana's been hit hard. I
don't know what I'd do, man.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. Especially like with water. Like, this is totally off subject of anything creative, but like water, like level flooding, like and high winds is scary, dude. You can't escape.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Like the most we have here, in like I live in like Melbourne, Australia, which is down southeast, essentially. The worst things we get here is obviously heat waves. Heat waves is a normal thing, and sometimes flash flooding. Sometimes when we get like crazy storms, but we don't get like hurricanes or anything.
Tornadoes?
No tornadoes where we're at. So, or
that's
blizzards.
The greener
we don't get snow. Yeah. Because we're in the coast area, so we don't get a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I can't even imagine what it'd be like to get like hurricanes and stuff. That would suck. Suck major.
El Chamba, the Chamba variant.
Yeah, could be. He's creative too. He makes dioramas. I don't. I draw. So.
Oh, that sucks to hear. That sucks.
Yeah, It's like you have to. Oh, like there's places where there's like earthquakes and such. How can you fully display your pieces? Without concern that it's if you get hit, it's gonna destroy everything. That would suck as well.
Right, because my kid's slamming the door, my shit's falling off the shelf. So a hurricane or an earthquake.
An earthquake is just that's way worse, right?
Oh.
So that's not good. Hopefully, stay safe out there, guys.
Come to Cali. Earthquakes and fires. What are you talking about? Like fires is like the fire stuff's scary too. Like
fire stuff is terrifying. That's stuff that I'm actually familiar with here in Australia. We get like crazy bushfires and shit, and that's part of the heat waves, really. But I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want none of that stuff. Natural
disaster. Sorry to bring it down, guys. MCU collector, what's up? I did not know you were in the chat. What's going on?
Welcome,
a few
dude.
Figures fell over.
Hopefully not the important ones. Hopefully.
So we one of the cities where I'm at is on a fault line actually, and every once in a while we'll get a little trimmer, but it's like the equivalent of like my dog running upstairs. Like it's not that bad, but like Cali, like craters are created whenever something goes wrong. I couldn't deal with that.
I don't know. I think
maybe I'm exaggerating.
Was it 2019? I think it was. I was in LA for what was that anime show? Anime Expo. There was an earthquake during that period. So, that was something. And that was like unpleasant, but I'm here now, so obviously we lived through it. But it was not pleasant. I know a couple of mates during that period of that time that were just kind of freaking out. But yeah, that's never fun, so.
Well, somehow we got to lift the mood from natural disasters.
How do we get there?
Yeah. I definitely do sympathize with everybody, especially if you lose something of high value. But
people that you care for.
Yeah.
Property. That's no good.
Yeah, those are things you can't replace.
Mm-hmm. I mean, toys and stuff you can always try and reacquire, I suppose.
Yeah, we were talking about that backstage a little bit, right? Because we, especially now, we want our cake and we want to eat it too, right? And when the action figure community, like, we'll complain if a figure's face sculpt doesn't look right, but looking back, like, we're in the golden age of action figures. Like, we can have whatever we want. Anything, and like you said, toys are a luxury at this point.
Absolutely. Toys are always going to be a luxury because it's not a necessity, It's something that you can acquire if you can, if you've got the means to. And having access to all these things, it's like, why are we going to waste our time basically putting down something that, sure, it might not be to your liking, but what about the 7 other things that you love that are dope that you already got? Let's focus on those ones.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would say like even like when I get a wave of action figures, like right now I'm looking at the Build-A-Bear figure in front of me, and like I appreciate every one of these because some sort of craft or creativity went into each one of them. I hope you're okay. Did that pigeon get you?
No.
Not pigeon, dove.
A turtle dove, man.
Turtle dove. 2 turtle doves. But yeah, they should all be appreciated, right? Somebody somewhere has a keen liking to one of these figures, right?
Absolutely.
It's impossible to like an entire wave holistically, but to somebody, that may be their first figure, or that is their figure that they wanted from their childhood or something,
Absolutely.
right?
Oh yeah, dude. Fully. So, I mean, if it's not for you, that's cool. But someone out there, they're like going crazy over it. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
You're pretty good for biggest. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about
Exactly.
figure arts when I said that because I love a lot of times, but then they're, especially the MCU figures here lately. Here we are complaining. Just
It's not to your liking, but like that's fine because again,
I don't buy it though. I don't complain about it. I just don't buy it.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm never going to complain about something that I'm not going to buy because to me that doesn't even make any sense. If you have it in hand and there is something, there's an issue with it, then that's that. That's unfortunate, but that's that. But it's like, oh, I hate the way these figures look because they don't have this and that. And it's like, were you going to buy it anyway? No. Then, how about don't say anything then?
Yeah, right. Like, yeah. Then negativity is it can be toxic. And unfortunately with negative comments, they seem to spark flame a lot quicker than the positive comments.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like a whole audience can basically, just revel in that negativity more than it's like, hey, how about let's just celebrate the things that we are getting that we enjoy. I think that's way cooler. I could talk all day positively about something that I love more than it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
Do you have any? Do you collect a lot of legends, or are you mostly imports? You're mostly imports, right?
I'm mostly imports because everything is an import for me.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Point. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, technically, everything's an import for us too.
Right. Well, yeah, but you've got like domestic lines.
Right.
There is no domestic line for me, and I have to like really when I purchase things, I have to fully consider if I'm spending this much on something, what am I going to get out of it, and will it how much does the character mean to me? Of course there's going to be some things where I'm going to want to pick it up. Like you showed off that Deadpool. That's actually something that I wanted to get a while ago, but I was like, because it's a movie Deadpool, I like that design, but at that point I'm like, maybe one of the import companies would do one. They haven't yet, but I'm not in a rush. I'm also a type where I'm like, I'm not going to get it just to fill in the spot until something better comes along. It's like, I'm okay with waiting until that thing comes along. And if it doesn't come along, then I'm okay with not having it at all. Like,
see, I'm a sucker. If I walk into Target and I see it on the shelf, like I'll buy it. I might have skipped over it, but if I see it on the shelf, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy it, right?
I don't blame you there though, because I think if I had access to a lot of these things, then it'd be more inclined to. But because I'm limited with the access, I'm almost forced to be more picky. So it's easier that way. Like, all right, what was it? I think it was last week or maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. The whole King Shark Todd McFarlane King Shark.
Yep.
That was supposedly hot. That's a hot thing. The Violator. Those are two difficult things. I picked those up because I had access to them here in Australia, which is not normal. I
haven't even seen those. Yeah.
Right? Not normal. Not mind you, I can't leave the house because we're on lockdown right now, but I purchased them via a domestic online site within Australia that had them for comparable prices to the US. So if I could get them for a non-crazy import price and get them shipped to me for free, because that's what it was, then of course I'm going to acquire them. And I did, and they're dope. That Violator is, I'd say, top 10 this year.
Really?
Shockingly. Like, it's a shock to me. Trust me.
I need to get it.
If you see it online or in person, definitely snatch that thing up. But online for a decent price, snag it. You'll be shocked at it. It doesn't make sense. Like, that's the one that doesn't make sense to me. Adam Gonzalez asked me if I have any mezcos. I don't. And the reason is because nothing really has caught my attention, has piqued my interest with mezcos. And I'm not really a fan of like the mezcofied designs of particular characters. And their original characters, while they look cool, they also don't appeal to me.
Is your thing articulation?
It's articulation, but it's also character, and it's also like the one mezco right now that I can honestly say is that's of any interest to me at all is the Predator. I think it looks fantastic. I think the accessories are great, but I'm also not sure of the articulation on it. Like if it's single elbows, I hate it.
Right, because you can get that from a NECA for about $30.
Exactly, right. But obviously the NECA is a larger scale. I think the Mezco one looks fantastic, and they haven't really released that information about that Predator Mezco, so I haven't.
Alien's up.
Alien looks cool too, and that's the seamless body that they've got. Looks cool.
Supposed to get that on Batman 89. We haven't got that either.
Right? I mean, there's a couple of Mezco stuff that's not out yet, and the whole delays and waiting stuff. I'm used to it because again, most of the stuff that I purchase are imports from Japan, and they're somewhat notorious for delays. Like Marfex, the Medicom Marfex line, they love to push stuff back for the most part. So delays aren't new to me, so I can wait. But yeah, it's about selectivity with character and the specific depiction of it. I'm more about the aesthetic, but also the I have to rate it based on as a whole, as opposed to just, this is a character that I like and it looks cool, so I'm going to get it. I can't just, I have to be picky.
You mentioned Mafex. You into the Mafex line?
Mafex is cool. They're still hit and miss with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the most, obviously, like Peter B. Parker, one of the best.
Yeah.
That one, easily one of the best ones that I've got. I recently picked up the Shin Ultraman.
Ooh.
But I also have the SH Figuarts Shin Ultraman. And I'm going to get the 3-0 Shin Ultraman. I love the design. And now out of these two, I don't know. I think both have pros and cons. Some will obviously prefer the Mafex over the SH Figuarts. But with the SH, I'm not really worried with moving it about.
Issues? Yeah.
Yeah, with moving it about and whatnot. This one, out of the box, I'm more delicate with it. And that actual arm is wrong. It's flipped and it was assembled incorrectly.
Yeah.
Like that's no good, But I was going to pop a jacket on him anyway, so it's not a big deal. So that's not a fuss. But out of these two, and he's also huge. So I like having these options. But I have to be selective with what I'm picking up as well, because everything I have to consider shipping to me in Australia, accessing here. As far as Legends go, if I'm going to pay $40 to $50 for a Legends, I can throw another $20 to that and just get an SH Figuarts.
Yeah, so, that totally makes sense, and I understand that mentality.
I'll just go for the SH Figuarts at this point.
Yeah,
and it's mainly about the character and aesthetics. Like with the Mafex, they're doing the comic X-Men line, or just comic versions of characters, and that they look fantastic. I haven't picked up anything yet because again, it's like the whole waiting. It's like, if you want to complete your X-Men team, how long is that going to take? 4 years, 5 years, maybe.
Right, yeah.
And I can wait, and sure, I'll probably suffer if I plan on eventually, having to backtrack and collect those things. But I'm also fine without it. I can appreciate when other people, it being in other people's collections, and that's dope. Yeah, fully happy with it. But there's so much cool stuff out these days that I'm like, just pick and choose what what you're after. You know, if it appeals to you and you've got access to it, go get it. I don't have access to like entire Marvel Legends waves, and in a way that's kind of good because I think it could be a dangerous slope, but
especially at 20, you know, in US, $20 is
dude, that's dangerous. But at this point, I'm like, I could get an entire wave of those things, or I can just, you know, pick one of these other lines that feel a little more premium in my hand. Because like once you've I've spent way too long like handling import figures, and so whenever I pick up a Legends, while they've definitely improved in time, it does feel like a different thing still. It still feels like a toy as opposed to just an articulated, you know, collective. So but they're all toys in the end of the day. I play with all of them in the end of the day, you know. I love them all. The ones that I have, I enjoy them, you know. And it's always nice to like, you know, like you unbox something and you display it, but you kind of forget about it and neglect it. It's nice to just go back to something and pick it back up and just, you know, fiddle around with it again because it reignites your, you know, the reason why you picked it up in the first place.
Right.
So, and it becomes like a desktop figure for a bit, and you know, you put it back later on. You pick something else up, but yeah, I love it. There's a ton of stuff out there.
And you're also into 1/6 scale figures too, right?
Oddly enough, yeah, it's something I didn't even think about. Like it's something that I was collecting at the same time as 112. 112 is my preferred choice because I can have more and display more of it. But I have more 1/6 than I really thought about. Like almost 20 pieces, possibly. That's stupid. Yeah. If I count, it's probably close to 20, but I didn't really realize it. You know what I mean? You don't realize it's like, oh yeah, it's because they're kind of like displayed all over, and I'm like, all right. But I like 1/6 and the problem with 1/6 as well is like, okay, they're larger, so they take more space. But if they made those characters in 112, I'd pick those up. But sometimes they didn't. So
yeah,
and I want the characters, and they look so good. So, and especially if it's for a great price, I'm gonna pull the trigger. It's properties. Depends on the property. It depends on accessibility, what's available, the price as well. Like, I'm not gonna spend near $200 for a 112 figure of a character when I can get that same character for like 150
in 112
in my head.
Yeah,
or in 1/6 that doesn't make sense in my head. Like, of course, to me that's a no-brainer.
This is a new one. I'll open this up next week actually, but
I love the Enablers episodes. They're the best.
And this one is a die-cast model.
Oh, right, because they do the die-cast series as well, right?
Yeah, that's an older one, but I told somebody that was like a bucket list figure. Nice. I don't have a whole lot of 1/6. I think that's like number 5 or 6. But Iron Man was one I really wanted. So
is that like? Do you still have a bucket list of like? Do you have like Grail? Like, do you have any current Grails that you want to really get, but it's either too much to really find value in a way where it's like it's too much, like it's out of your range, or you can't justify it in price?
Yeah,
one that's just not accessible right now.
I think so there's a few that I can imagine, but honestly, I have every figure I ever want. There's so many figures out, and they're going to remake them. What we're seeing now is they're remaking figures as fast as, you know, years ago they didn't remake figures a lot. Now they are.
Yeah, reissuing.
And reissuing, repaints, whatever. Like Omega Red, I really wanted. Right now, I don't have to. I have it. Right? People complained about that one, but I love it because I wasn't able to get it before. And now it's in a 5-pack with shirtless Wolverine. Like, I can't pass shirtless Wolverine up.
He's gonna be a pocket fig. He's gonna be a pocket fig.
Right. But I think there's some really like movie accurate 1/6 scale figures I think are some grails. Like, I used to think like some Mezco Gomez's, but now they have some in hand. Like, I'm kind of over that. But there's like an 89 Batman 1/6 scale figure with like really sick.
The Hot Toys one, right?
Yeah, that would sit well. Marty McFly and the DeLorean,
dude,
as well as Doc in that scale.
Marty, yeah.
But
I think aren't they re-releasing Marty? I'm pretty sure they're. I saw an ad where they've got a new Marty coming out and a new dock.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have to if I can find it, I will definitely send it to you.
Yeah, and the DeLorean, because like the DeLorean, like that makes Back to the Future, and like they have that set, but you're looking at almost $4 or $5 grand now for that particular set. Yeah.
At the time, it actually like when you really look back, you're like, oh, I really should have pulled the trigger then.
Right.
It like for example the what is it, the Medicom Kaneda's bike from Akira. They re-released it. It's a reissue of something from I think it was 6 years ago, maybe longer, but it's double the price of its original release. And I'm like, I really should have pulled the trigger back then, but that's on me. That's on me.
That's a lot of the problems with these figures that are getting released now. Is like if you choose to miss out, you got to pay for it later on.
It's so late tax.
Right. So now it's like I'm really just going after figures like 89 Bats. That figure may or may not be good to some people, but to me, that's like the first superhero that I was really into. Michael Keaton Bats is the Bats for me, right? Not saying the other ones are bad, but that's for my childhood.
Yours. Yeah, that one's yours. Thing. Yep. My mate's got that one, and it's stunning.
Yeah, it is.
He's got that one, and he's got Joker. And
that Jack Nicholson Joker.
Yeah, it's so good.
I really wish they'd do a 1/12 scale. Like if Mezco would do it, like I'd be all over it. As long as it didn't take them 2 years to get out. But
you might have to wait 2 to 3. Because if they announce it now and it gets pushed back, you don't know when these things are going to come out.
Right.
That's kind of the problem with a lot of these. But hey, I ain't going nowhere. I'll forget about it anyways. And by the time it's out, it's like, oh, cool. I remember this.
Well, that is a good thing about Hot Toys is like you can put it on the plan before it's even released and be paid for. Like I did, I don't buy a lot of new, but I bought the Mando Beskar armor, right? It was the only one I've really ever bought new, and I was able to just, make those payments until it was released, which was convenient, right?
Way convenient, yeah. Like as far as Hot Toys go, I only have 2. All the other 1/6 stuff is like Medicom or 3.0, 3A, but it's easy to be selective when it's that,
3A and 3.0 has got some. I mean, they're good stuff too. Like those new Transformers they just released. Oh my god,
the Evangelion stuff. Yeah, if you're into anime and such, that's the stuff. Like, yeah, the 3.0 stuff. That's where they're getting so much of my money. They're like sticking their hands in my pockets all day, all day, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, take it. I'm good because I've handled their stuff for years and I know the quality. So it's like for the price that I'm paying, yeah, I get it. It's cheap, so I'll take it. And it looks dope.
Yeah. I picked up you were talking about Medicom earlier. I picked up a Vader not too long ago. It was like
I saw that ago. I saw that one.
Yeah, I was super excited, and it was only like $200, and it has like voices and light up and all this other stuff.
I didn't know it had the voices. I did not know I had the voices. Yeah, to me that was a surprising part.
It was so cool, and I felt like it was well worth it. I don't know if the quality's there, but I felt, for me I felt it was great.
If it represents the character and it's doing the thing that you think it needs to do, then shouldn't that be enough? Really?
Yes. If you're happy with your purchase, that should be
absolutely
enough.
I think that should. It's like if you're happy with it, then whatever anyone else says kind of doesn't count.
Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Because in the end, it has to make you happy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they may want to, but like if Hot Toys or 3.0, they don't make a toy for everybody. They make a toy for that person who wants this particular style figure at this whatever version they're making, right?
And sometimes, obviously, it's like, oh, you prefer the 1/12 scale, but that's not what they're making. So it's either you get the 1/6 or you wait for another company to maybe do it. Maybe if they do. I don't know, but we've got so many options. Too many options. We're in a golden age. We can get something from anything. Love it.
Hey, good night, Toy Maestro. Thank you again.
Cheers, Maestro. Yeah, cheers for the gift of the giveaway
of the Deadpool.
Great Deadpool.
Well, we are coming up on 2.5 hours, Chamba. So
that flew, dude.
Yeah, it definitely. Definitely flew by. Astonishing News and
Definitely.
Reviews. What's up, dude? Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen my recent post of that humongous dial that I'm working on, but that's Astonishing News and Reviews is future set diorama. So
That's gonna be sick.
yeah, it's only about 40%. It's slow going, but it's like a labor of love. Like I'm dumping everything that I have the capability of doing
I
into
love
it.
that. I love it.
And
Because it's all your knowledge and expertise at this point in time going into this.
Yeah.
I love it. It's gonna be dope when it's done too.
Oh yeah, dude. I can't I have this vision, like I can see it, like I can't wait to get to paint, but there's so many details still to come. It's like, okay, slow it down, get it done.
Yeah. I know that feeling sometimes where I'm like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Like I can't wait to like fully color this, but I just started inking it. And I'm like, it's not ready. I can't even, it's not even approved yet. Yeah.
Well, that goes back to that little, that flash of creativity. When you see something, you know, that's how you want it. Right. And
speaking of that though, like when you create something, a dio, how often does it shift how often does it change while you're actually making it based on like, say you imagine it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you start making it. Do you stick to what you originally imagined, or does it actually evolve while you're making it?
So it evolves. So like you may start knowing like you want to do a male superhero drawing, right? But then the details, maybe the colors or the style of costume will change, but it's still a male figure, right?
Right.
It's kind of the same way with dioramas. Like when I worked with the Astonishing News and Reviews, we know we wanted a parking lot, a big building in the middle, and then some apartments or like townhomes. But the details, like the architecture or color, or like small details on like actual size and scale, you know, compared to how it fits with the rest of the diorama may change as the build goes on, right? So like example is stairs. If you look in that picture, there's two different staircases or stoops. One is the original, one is the one I made after I made the apartments, because I realized that they didn't look to scale. So I made them a little different. Right. And then making them for a second time, I was able to add more details that I realized, you know, after looking at more pictures. So yeah, it evolves over time. And I like that. I don't want to be like, this is how I wanted it. I want to be able to evolve based on, you know, either influences from the customer or influences based on, you know, how things look. So like yesterday was the first time I fit that piece together with everything. And, you know, that's where like design changes may happen, right? Because it's such a large piece. You can't see it all in one place, even though you have like a 3D render or a mental, you know, picture of it. You really need to see how that foam fits together and make sure it's sizing well. And luckily, like I would make the changes, but it's sizing up really nicely, which is
exciting. Awesome. I like that. I like this. Like when things start falling into place in that way, you're like, okay, it's good. It means I'm on the right track in a way.
Right.
That's
so the way I'm building it is I'm kind of working in quadrants, and now I'm on these last quadrants, like getting the foam there. And then you start working on those really fine details. So I'm at a point where I can start working in more building, you know, now that everything fits together, more building details and like small details like wiring and, you know, stonework and, you know, broken streets and stuff like that. So that's the fun part. It's getting into the real fun part now that everything fits together really well.
This piece is going to be dope when it's done.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be awesome. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to love it too.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we go ahead and start closing it out? Yeah. We're at 2.5 hours in. I know you got to get back to work. You work.
I got to start work for today. I'm actually finishing off colors from yesterday and then starting the next thing, which I should be starting on. So.
Nice. So let's go ahead and plug a few things. So issue 2 should be coming out in September, right?
September, like early September-ish, I think 10 or one of those dates. I don't know. Okay. But early September's issue 2, yes.
So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. It's the one that features Venom.
Oh, I did not know that he was.
Yeah, they put it in the solicitations, so it's not a spoiler.
Well, yeah, I just didn't know.
Yeah. He's in it. Cool.
I heard it here first. You guys might have, but I heard it here first.
Oh, you heard it from my mouth first, yeah, because I've actually never said it, but it was in the solicitations. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, where else can everybody find you?
I'm the Chamba on Instagram and Twitter. I have a YouTube page, but I haven't updated that in a while, and that's where you can find like time-lapse videos and real-time videos of me drawing artwork. Some traditional, majority digital right now. I'm on Discord on the Toy Migos. And yeah, we always do like toy talk there, like with the voice and stuff, and that's always fun. But yeah, lots of stuff there. But yeah, mainly Instagram and Twitter is where you can find me.
And you've appeared in a few of the Quickie Minis here recently, right?
Yeah. On occasion, like when, if they need me to fill in something, if I'm on a computer, I'm available for the most part. I'm not on Instagram all day because that can get distracting. But I'll like Discord is always open in the background, so that's where you can pretty much hit me up, or emails. But yeah, Discord is probably the best place.
I think I talked to you on Discord. I know I'm in Toy Amigos. I think you might even be in my little.
I'm in yours. Yeah, I'm yours.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, cool. I fail to look at Discord often. I try to, but there's so many social media. Yeah,
it really is, honestly. But yeah, I like Discord a lot. So yeah, definitely hop onto the Toy Talks there. I think it happens honestly, it's been happening every day recently. For a couple hours every day. Because we just talk toys. It's always fun to talk toys.
Yeah.
Like now, we can talk toys all day, essentially. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Primarily Instagram as far as like artwork and stuff goes, though. And news.
Cool. All right. Well, it's been a blast. I appreciate you opening up kind of, the door or pulling back the covers on the comic book and, the processes and you as an artist.
Thank you for having me, man. This is great.
Absolutely. This is one of my joys in life is, talking to artists, especially those that I have connections with in the community. So I really appreciate the time, you taken to come join us.
Thank you for this avenue. Again, for the diorama makers out there who often don't get enough exposure, really. So yeah, it's been great for that. And hearing, their processes and whatnot, their backstories is bloody great. Love it. So thanks for this. Thanks for this show.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a passion I love, and I want to support everybody that I can. I know that it can be tough, especially starting out, and I'm nowhere near having a great platform, but it's still enough to get exposure to other artists, and something that I look for whenever I was starting out. So I want to be able to provide that to those folks. So
no doubt.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll go ahead and end it there. Hope everybody has a great Saturday and Sunday. To those in Australia,
those for the future folk like myself. The people in the past,
or people in the past. There may be Fridays somewhere. I don't know how that works, I don't know.
I don't know if it goes that far back, but Saturdays for sure. Enjoy your Saturday. The remainder of your Saturday.
Maybe next Friday when you're viewing this in the future.
Right? Yeah, that's actually you got a point there.
Or my kids in 40 years. You want to know what Dad looks like? This is what Dad looks like 40 years ago.
How weird is that? Everything's documented and recorded and archived.
Hey, from this point, like, what was it, like 10 years ago, moving forward, like, I know at least in the Library of Congress, everything that passes through the internet is recorded. So
terrifying thought.
Yeah.
Terrifying thought.
I'm so glad growing up, like, we did not have this power.
Oh, dude. Could you imagine in the 90s? If we had access to what we have now,
oh god,
awful. But yeah. It's good that it didn't exist then.
well, don't hang up. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, but I want to thank all you guys coming out, checking out Chamba. We'll talk backstage for a little while before we really head out. But thank you all, folks. And see you next Saturday. Nico Hodge next Saturday.
Should be a good
time,
one.
Same place.
Class.
Anyway, bye guys.
Cheers.